All right, let's go with the newsletter real quick. What is going on? Okay. Same old, same old. At this point, I don't know what's going on in the back garden. Probably all dead by now, just dirt, weeds. There's your calendar. You have off Friday the 14th, September 7th, Friday the 16th, and Thursday and Friday, Thanksgiving, 26, 27. And then holiday break begins Monday the 21st, or the Friday, which will be the 18th, right? It's Monday the 21st, Sunday the 20th, the 18th, that's your last day of school. There's the website. You have an issue with the rent. Okay, let's go Zoom meetings, portal issues. So there's a number, Mr. Nathan, if you can see it. Okay, I don't know if you have it, to call Zendesk. Okay. And again, how to keep your self safe. How to use bleach. Not half a cup, it's too much. Just don't make a bleach cocktail. Just kidding. Right? Don't inject it either. Duh. Just saying. Okay. What else? Online standards. Here we go. You know those two folks, Miss Ann Derrick and Jamil Hooper. Okay. UT is still hiring, so get a hold of Miss Ann Derrick and Miss Jamil Hooper. You guys are interested for that spot. Also, these folks are hiring. Austin Marriott Downtown, Better Have Coffee and Cocktails, Hotel Magdalena, Uchi, Laurel, and Great Harvest Bread Company. If anybody's interested in those places, they are hiring. Okay, they're hiring. This is James. Okay. Tuesday talks, they're going to resume again. First one is July 21st at 3 p.m. If you guys want to join those Tuesday talks, next one, it's going to be talking to Miss Kayla Hunt. She's K Desserts, current culinary art student. She has just recently joined Amazon to ship cookies worldwide. Okay. She was also featured on Martha Stewart's Bakeaway Camp. It featured on Studio 512. Okay. Just for the fun of it. I don't know who comes up with this stuff. Okay. Quote of the week, when you focus on the good gets better. Trivia. In the botanical sense, strawberries are not an actual berry. Which one of the following is a berry? Any thoughts?
The banana.
The tomato.
Nanner.
Avocado.
Tomato.
Nanner. So we got tomato, avocado, and banana. Nobody chose blackberry. Okay. Right. So botanical sense, strawberries, which are an actual berry. Which one of the following is a berry? Banana. Who's the banana? Racing?
I was just joking. I wasn't serious.
You got it. Bananas, along with cucumbers and kiwis, are classes of berries, whereas strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries are not. To be considered berry, the botanical sense, the fruit must come from the flower with one ovary and typically have several seeds. Raspberries, strawberries, and blackberries don't count because they come from a single flower with more than one ovary. So there you go. You're right, Mr. Raceling. Nanners. Bananas, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. All right, with enough with their notice, let's get into, we got a lot of ground to cover, guys, a lot of ground. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about every single day in the menu as we go by, okay? So day 16, tomorrow, you're going to cover Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. We're going to cover those three countries briefly. And I'm going to try to expedite it, not to make it too long, because we got a lot of, like I said, ground to cover. So Brazil is right here, is this yellow part where you see on the picture, okay? Brazil. So with Brazil, culture Brazil is primarily Western. As consequence of 3 centuries colonization by the Portuguese Empire, the core Brazilian culture is derived from the culture of the Portugal, means tomatoes. Numerous Portuguese inheritance include languages, predominantly religion, and the colonial architectural styles. These aspects, however, were influenced by African, indigenous American traditions, as well as those from other Western European countries. Some aspects of Brazilian culture are contributions of Italian, German, and other European immigrants. Amerindian people and the Africans play a large role in formation of Brazilian language, cuisine, music, dance, and religion. Okay? That's why they're heck of a good dancers, man. I was working with a manager from Brazil. His name was Pedro. Damn. I used to like to go to the clubs with him because he can throw down. Brazilian cuisine varies from religion, okay? Here's some of the foods, some of the Brazilian cuisine. Cuvée, if you're visiting Rio for a few days and you're interested in eating some of the typical dishes, one of the items that should be on your top of your list, feijoada. I'll show you what feijoada looks like, okay? It's a rich, heavy stew, black beans, carne seca, sausage, various cuts of pork, not unlike the French dish cassoulet, which is another excellent dish. Traditionally, they serve with rice, torresmo, pork scratchings or pork rind, farofa, orange slices, and cuvée. Cuvée is a shredded green vegetable. Okay, let's see, I'll show you what the picture looks like. Here in the U.S., it's similar to collard greens, basically the same thing. Okay, so there's really Brazilian cuisine, especially in the coastal states. The foreign influence extended to later migratory waves. Japanese immigrants brought most of the foods items to Brazilian would associate with Asian cuisine today, and introduced large-scale aviaries as well as to the 20th century. Root veggies such as cassava, locally known as mandioca, apim, or whatever other names they have, yams, and fruit like acai. Do you guys know what acai is?
It's got like a lot of antioxidants, right?
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Berry.
Yep. You can find it at Sam's, Costco, Walmart, HEB in the frozen section, the frozen mixed berry. They have a little tube inside which says acai. Okay, it's a berry. Superfood.
That was pronounced acai.
No, acai, acai. I have the Spanish accent. Acai, acai, right? So acai. National beverage is coffee. Well, cachaca is Brazilian's native liqueur. Cachaca is distilled from the sugarcane and is the main ingredient in national cocktail. Cheese buns, pão de queijo, we used to have on the menu. Okay, so here's your feijoada. This is what it looks like: black bean stew with sausages, collard greens, and some oranges. Okay, what else we got? Coxingas, little raindrops of fried goodness, usually filled with chicken and very creamy cheese called catipuri. Okay, catipuri is almost look like arancini from Italy. Arancini is like a little risotto ball with orange zest, saffron, and is breaded and deep fried. Okay, pão de queijo, Brazilian cheese bread with tapioca flour, and like you see in the picture on the right hand side, is very elastic, almost like a rubber band. Is so delicious. It's almost resembled like a pat of shoe. And once you have one, you're gonna have at least 5 or 6. They're that addictive. Farofa, fried cassava flour. You can include egg, bacon, other add-ons, usually sprinkled over rice and beans. There you go. Acai, acai, superfood berry used to make fruit bowls and smoothies. There you go. That's the berry on the top left-hand side. The smoothies on the right-hand side. Sorry, I got somebody who's late. Okay, but you can either the smoothie you can garnish it with fresh fruit on top. Okay, bolingo de chuva, little balls of glorious fried dough sprinkled with sugar and cinnamon, just like churro fritters, bombolone from Italy, la cepole from Italy, or donut holes on Round Rock Donuts. Okay. Beijinho de coco, coconut truffles. Okay. Vatapa, spicy cream of fish and shrimp dish cooked in peanut sauce. Acaraje, black eyed pea, ball fried with palm oil, usually stuffed with shrimp and vinaigrette. Moqueca de camarão, shrimp stew cooked with coconut milk and palm oil. Add veggies such as peppers, tomatoes to complete. Next up is Argentina. Argentina. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, don't travel there. They are carnivores. They're meat lovers. They're like about 140 pounds a year per capita of meat. Oh, delicious meat. Brief
They're
history.
famous
Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say they're famous for the cattle industry, right?
Uh-huh. Llamas too. Delicious llamas. So it's covering most of the southern cone and it's bordered with Bolivia, Paraguay to the north, Brazil to the northeast, Uruguay and South Atlantic Ocean to the east, Chile to the west, and Drake Passage to the south. Argentina is the 8th largest country in the world, the 2nd largest Latin America. Capital is Buenos Aires. Okay, population is about 43.5 million. Official currency is a peso. Official language Spanish. Many people do speak their Italian, German. Some indigenous populations still speak their own native tongues. Football and soccer is the most popular sport in Argentina. Major export is wine, especially red wine. Cuisine is described as a culture blending of Mediterranean influences such as those created by Italian, Spanish populations with very small inflows. Indigenous with a wide scope of agriculture products that are abundant in the country. Argentina annual consumption of beef has averaged about, again, 220 pounds per capita of meat. That's how much one person eats a year of beef. Okay. In 2007, about 149 pounds. They dropped a little bit. Beyond asado, the Argentine barbecue, another dish is more generally matches the national identity. Argentine people have a reputation for the love of eating. Social gatherings are commonly centered on sharing a meal. Innovations to have a dinner at home, generally viewed as a symbol of friendship, warmth, and integration. Sunday family lunches are considered the most significant meal of the week. Those highlights often include asado or pasta. Another feature of Argentine cuisine is the preparation of homemade foods such as French fries, patties, pasta, celebrated special occasion to meet friends or to honor someone. Traditional locally preparing foods is passed down for generation to generation, and homemade food is also seen as a way to show affection. Argentine restaurants include a great variety of cuisines, prices, and flavors. Large cities tend to host everything from high-end international cuisine to bodeganas. Okay, less stylish restaurants and bars and canteens offering a range of dishes of affordable prices. Typical foods: dulce de leche. It's like caramel in a can. They just eat that sort of the can with a spoon. Asado is the grilled meat as a barbecue staple with a steak and beef, ribs especially common. The term asado itself refers to the long strips of flank cut beef ribs, popular items such as chorizo, blood sausage, chitterlings, sweetbreads. Have you guys ever had sweetbreads before? Anybody?
I don't think I want to, chef.
I have, Chef. They're
How do you
good.
like it?
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
But
It is
I
the-
mean,
The glands of the veal, and you get them to look like brains. You peel them, you poach them, take them out, cool them, cut them, and saute them with some little bit of clarified butter. Hit them with a little bit of demi-glace, and then hit them with a little bit of morel mushrooms, red wine, demi-glace, heavy cream, and a little bit of brandy. Oh man,
that sounds amazing, Chef. Wow.
velvety, a little bit earthy, and silkiness. Delicious. Mm-mm-mm. That's what I started making when I was 17, my first gig in the kitchen. I'm here 17 years old. I'm like, okay, let's go. And other parts of the animal also enjoy. In Patagonia, however, lamb and chivo are also eaten more frequently than beef. Whole lambs and goats are deliciously cooked over an open fire in the technique known as asado a la estaca. The most common condiment asado is chimichurri. And I'll give you a recipe how to make it. I'll also pop in a video on the chat so you guys can know how to make that chimichurri, okay? Chimichurri. Sauce of herbs, garlic, and vinegar. Unlike other preparations, Argentines do not include chili on their version of chimichurri, but we're going to have some crushed chilies on ours. Breaded and deep-fried meats, milanesas, are used as snacks and sandwiches or eaten warm with mashed potatoes, puree empanadas, small pastries of meat, cheese, sweet corn, and hundreds of other fillings are common sides of pastries and picnics, or as starters to a meal. A variation of the empanada gallega is a big round meat pie made most commonly with a tuna and mackerel. Caballa in Spanish, vegetables or salads also eaten in Argentina. Tomatoes, onions, lettuce, eggplants, squashes, zucchini are common side dishes. Italian staples such as pizza, of course, because a lot of Italian people are there too. Noodles, fettuccine, tagliatelle, and gnocchi. Cannelloni, ice cream, a lot of ice cream parlors. In Chubut, the West community is known for the tea houses, offering scones, torta de cabeza, and torta negra. Sandwiches de miga are delicate sandwiches made of crustless, buttered white bread, very thinly cured, meat, cheese, and lettuce. They often purchased from entrepreneur home cooks and may have been to a light evening of the meal. Sweet paste, dulce de leche, we're going to see how that looks like in a minute. Here are some of the top 10 dishes for Argentina cuisines, okay? While beef is the backbone of Argentina daily diet, plenty of other tasty treats awaiting you in the world's 8th largest country. Besides ranking inspiration from Italian and Spanish immigrants, Argentina's dishes also feature ingredients from Andean Northwest, as well as the Patagonia to the south. Here we go. Choripan, another cheap and cheerful street food hit. Choripan is usually served as an entree and an asado, but thanks to the hands-on shape, this sausage sandwich with chorizo sausage teams up with a pan of bread is an ideal snack for travelers on the go. You can slather in chimichurri, a spicy sauce made from oregano, parsley, garlic, chili flakes, and red wine vinegar, touch of lime juice. Or salsa criolla, tomato, onion, and red bell pepper variant. While chorizo is usually made from pork, boar sausages can also be found in some of the restaurants. There's the version of the hot dogs. Pizza, we know all about pizza. And they eat it with mayonnaise. Okay. Milanesa, another Argentina dish. It's an Italian influence. The Milanesa, known as escalope in the rest of the world. Usually means made from silver side around beef from the outside of the leg, chicken breast. The meal is hammered down to a thin cut before being bathed in breadcrumbs and either fried or baked. Toppings include the raises dish excitement levels. A caballo, on horseback, means top with a fried egg. La ponitala ups the ante with cheese and tomato sauce, while the Suiza uses Gruyere. In Germany, it's schnitzel with veal. Here is Milanesa with pork. Provoleta, sound round provolone cheese, fairly bland, eating experience until they slap on the grill. Provoleta is made with cow's milk and turns into a goodness. Classic served with Argentina asado or barbecue. Grill in a specially sized skillet and a simple foil dish. Provoleta is something topped with oregano and should be slightly crisp on the outside, yet melted the inside. For a creamy yet acidic taste, try the goat's milk with provoleta. Asado. Beef is so tempting in Argentina that even vegetarians have been known to succumb to its wiles. Okay? Best way to sample the asado is which refers to both barbecue as well as traditional way of grilling beef. It is the most important social event of Argentina, bringing together friends and families every weekend. Okay? Multi-step meal can last several hours. Interests include choripan, morcilla, a provoleta, before moving into the organ meats such as mollejas, beefs, sweetbreads, chinchulines, chitterlings, and kidneys. Building up to the main game, we recommend trying some matabrito, the sale of the pork or flank steak. Dress it with lemon juice before tucking into one of the several cuts, such as tender ojo de bife ribeye or beef chorizo. Comes with a strip of fat, taste of asado or tira. Okay. Here's the next one. Here's asado. This is what it looks like. This is their national dish, the barbecue. Okay. So you guys are meat lovers. Like, I love seafood and love meat too. Okay. Asado, sausages, skirt steak, any kind of meat. Again, the beef lovers, carnivorous. Okay. Llama, yes, they do eat llama. Okay. Believe it or not, there's a slice of llama hiding on all that pretty foliage. Courtesy of Pablo Bacarat. Eating llama steak is the norm in Argentina Northwest, given that the camelid is well adapted to the Jujuy province, 2,000 plus meters above sea level altitude. While its flavor is more rustic than earthy than the beef, fat levels are lower, which means makes it a healthy alternative. It can be sampled or empanadas or stewed in standalone steaks. Some swanky restaurants even use it in carpaccio or tartare, which is raw. Carpaccio is frozen, sliced thinly, and served raw. Humita, little tamales. Even a savory snack or a main course, humita is the ultimate corn tribute. Leaf packages are untied to reveal the corn mash inside. The whole package either steam or boil, and they're about this big, guys. They're small. Okay. Dating back to the pre-Columbian times, humita is eaten around the Andean region, including Chile, Bolivia, and Peru, made from fresh corn and milk. And we made our tamales with water or chicken stock. They use milk. Onion, spices, sometimes goat cheese added to pep it up. They're real small too, like bite size. Locro, hearty stew. Locro is a national dish, traditionally served on May 25th, just a couple months ago. Near the market of Argentina's May Revolution, made from the white corn, beef, pork, tripe, and red chorizo, as well as other vegetables, including white beans, squash, pumpkin, seasoned with cumin and bay leaf. This tasteless meal is in a bowl, an ideal winter warmer. Can be wrapped up with a dash of chimichurri. Hot sauce made from paprika, spring onions, and chili. Also worth trying, carbonada, a similar dish that includes sweet corn that is served inside a baked seasoned pumpkin. Imagine getting the pumpkin and just going to town on that local, right? For the holidays. Dulce de leche. Yes, you can buy it. Haagen-Dazs has it. Have you guys ever seen that yet?
Yes, chef, and I've tried it. It's a really good flavor. I like it. It's really nice.
And it's Haagen-Dazs, so it's nice and creamy, velvety, smooth, and it has that dulce. Oh man, oh man. Some Martinez will argue that that licking dulce de leche, caramelized milk, sugar cane from a spoon is a meal in itself. Yeah, they just open the can and go to town. However, the sweet and sticky salsa usually accompanies desserts such as flan. A better invention is dulce de leche flavored helado, which ice cream powder that don't stuck to your spoon. Out of business, right? Yeah, Haagen-Dazs. Chile, next up. Chile is right here, this little thin strip that runs from Bolivia, Peru, all the way down to the Drake Passage, way down down south, okay, where it freezes. Brief history. South America's country occupied a long, narrow strip of land between the Andes Mountains to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. It borders Peru to the north, Bolivia to the northeast, Argentina to the east, and the Drake Passage to the far south. Spain colonized Chile in the mid-16th century, replacing Incas in the north and central Chile, but failed to conquer the independent and central Chile. After declaring its independence from Spain in 1818, Chile emerged in the 1830s as a relatively stable authoritarian republic. In the 19th century, Chile today is one of South America's most stable, prosperous nations. Fun facts about Chile. The Valle de Luna in Chile's Atacama Desert is said to resemble the moon's surface. Maybe that's where NASA goes to train. Okay. Chile has the driest desert in the world. Calama is a town in the desert that has never seen rain. This makes the driest place in the world. Penguins live on the small islands north of Chile. Another fun facts, along the mountainous region of Chile, there are over 130 volcanoes. 130 volcanoes, okay? With a number of them still active, hence the name of the Ring of Fire. Chile is one of the few countries on earth that has the government-supported UFO research organizations, Little Green Men, okay? Chilean cuisine varies depending where you are because of the ecological and climate diversity. There is a great variety of products available in different regions. Although different regional cuisines are a combination of traditional native Chilean dishes and ingredients, European and in lesser extent Middle Eastern influences, creating a Chilean Creole cuisine. Because of Chile's long coastal seafood is the main ingredient of its many dishes, mostly in the center and the south of the country. Local crops are the staple of each regional cuisine, which have been prepared for thousands of years by native Indians before the Spanish arrived. Among the most important agricultural crops are maize, also known as chocolo, quinoa, potatoes, which have been cultivated since the pre-Inca times, providing nourishment in the high altitudes of the Andes. Since the time of the Spanish conquest, Chile has been producing grapes in its soil-rich region. Oof. Chilean gastronomy. Okay, we're gonna pass by real quick because we gotta cover a lot of territory. During the early years of Chilean independence, so-called Patria Vieja, Chileans celebrated with empanadas, chicha, and red wine, which is still traditional today in the annual celebrations of independence. Chilean food has taken much inspiration from the European heritage. It has carved a niche for itself in the world food culture. Chilean food dishes menus a list of bright, flavorful, and wholesome meals that can put a large smile on any face of a foodie. Mostly comprised of meat, seafood, and vegetables, depending on the dish geographic origins. Best eaten alongside local wine or pisco sour, tangy local drink. Here's some of the top 10 Chilean dishes. One is empanada. Empanadas are delicious dough pastries, baked or fried, filled with tasty cheese, succulent seafood, beef, olive, onions. Most local believes that secret of making a good empanada is preparing the filling the night before. Chileans are fond of empanadas throughout the year. They take great pride of serving homemade empanadas. They were guests, right? Empanadas, pastelitos, pastelillos. It's all about the fold. And they also got humitas, Chilean version of humitas, sweet or savory. Humitas are made with boiled flour and cornmeal. Corn husks are stuffed with ground corn, basil, onion, and ground paprika. They are then tied together with the twine, and humitas are cooked to perfection by the boiling or steaming in hot water. Pastel de choclo, not my favorite. It's an excellent presentation of mestizo, a style of South American cooking inspired from the Spanish style empanada of the Andean humitas. Pastel de chocolate is perfect blend of sweet and savory corn pudding, version with the corn ground, beef olives, onions, hard-boiled eggs, and raisins. It's like a shepherd's pie. You cook the ground beef, you put it in an earthenware, season it, put it in earthenware, make the cornmeal batter, pour it on top, and just bake it all at the same time. But the olives have to be embedded in the cornmeal, so is the chopped hard-boiled egg. Completos, yes, Chilean style hot dogs. Completos are a Chilean version of the hot dogs. If you love hot dogs, you must eat the completos in Chile. A typical Chilean completo is served with tomato, sauerkraut sausage, lots of mayonnaise. Did I mention the like mayonnaise with the pizza? Pizza mayonnaise. Walk along the streets of Santiago de completos, tall drink to keep you energized. If you're lucky, you might even find a vendor that sells completos with avocado. Ceviche is big in Chile too. Ceviche is one of the more popular foods in Chile. The Chilean version made with raw fish like halibut, marinated in citric juices, and usually served with cilantro, cumin, onions, sauteed garlic, olive oil. You want to try something different? You could also go for the cold shrimp ceviche. Asado, again, asado. We just went over that. Okay. Chorillana is our base absolute favorite amongst Chilean fast foods. Additions sauteed beef, onions, fried eggs, sausages to a heap of French fries, brings out the gorgeous veg twist of the mundane fried potatoes. Both not in taste, design, found in almost all bars. And loved by locals. Soriana is one of the Chilean food dish you must try. Talk about your chili cheese fries. Your
That one looks like that looks like one of those like breakfast bowls that you get or something like that. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's got the potatoes, it's got the meat, it's got all the protein in it, you know. It's like chili cheese fries, poutine, you know, with an egg on top. Cazuela, it's a favorite of locals, both with the Spanish and Mapuche regions. Cazuela is a heartwarming broth, loved by almost everyone. It's made with large chunks of chicken or beef, pumpkin potatoes, cilantro, and corn noodles, and slow cooked to perfection. Chilean comfort food, cazuela is favored by most mothers to ward off the cold of the winter of the children. Okay, so tomorrow, this is your menu. Okay, you got churrasco, which is steak, and the shopping list said skirt steak. If you can't find skirt steak, flat iron steak is fine. Okay, any kind of less expensive cut of beef, not New York strip or filet mignon, of course, will do as well. Even flank steak. Okay, so you are going to cook your steak. Only oil and salt on it. That's it. Okay. And you're going to cook it medium rare, nothing above that. Okay. For the presentation. Okay. Once you present and send a picture, then you can go ahead and cook it, cremate it, blacken it, Cajun it, incinerate it, right? Until you.
So we can't marinate it?
No. Only oil and salt. That's it. Okay. Only oil and salt. That's it.
And that's on a flank steak, or you said a skirt?
Well, typically it's a skirt steak, but you can use a flat iron steak, which is less. It's not that expensive. Okay, but it has to be a thick cut. Okay.
Hey, Chef, you
Yes.
said oil and salt it tonight?
No. Before you cook it, just a little bit of oil and salt. If you have a grill it. If you don't, you can pan sear it. Okay.
Gotcha, Chef.
It's because it's supposed to be grilled, but if you don't have a grill, don't worry about it. Just pan sear would be fine too. Okay. But medium rare. Okay. Once you present, you go back and look at whatever you want to do with it. Deep drop it into the fryer later, and then have it for dinner. But for the picture, is medium rare. And why? Because if you're going to get hired as an executive chef, they're probably going to give you a mystery basket, and in that mystery basket is probably going to be a steak. They want to see how well you can cook a medium rare steak. Because anybody and everybody can burn a steak, but nobody has the skill sets to have a nice, beautiful medium rare steak. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your French fries is, you can do chips, you can do wedge fries, you can do home fry. I mean, you can do whatever fries, not home fries. Shoestring fries, curly fries. Okay. And your chimichurri, you guys ever made chimichurri in the past before?
No, Chef.
Okay.
Is it similar to like a pesto?
Not exactly. Okay.
I've had it. Gloria's does it, but I'm not. To be honest, I'm not a really big fan of like the chimichurri. It's very, oily. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
I don't really like that texture flavor.
I've made it before, chef, and I've also eaten it. I really like it. It's a really good food.
Okay.
I mean, top.
So it's really easy to make. I got a video that I'm going to pop in, but I'm also going to put the link on the chat so you guys want to go watch it later. Okay. I will suggest you do so because this is the way it's being done in Argentina. There are different kinds, different variations, and the recipe in the portal is not it. Okay. I told you that because I had two interns from Argentina who I had cooking here in Texas with me, and they showed me how to do the chimichurri from their homeland, and that's the way they make it from their homeland. Okay. So I'm going to pop it in, but also have the link on the chat. This lady, I do apologize, it's speaking in Spanish. I'm gonna stop here when she talks about certain things so I can tell you what she's talking about. But the technique is right there on the spot, okay? So let me share with you, okay? Here we go.
Chicos, bienvenidos nuevamente a mi cocina. Hoy vamos a preparar un espectacular chimichurri. Este chimichurri se lo dedico para todos ustedes, pero especialmente para todos aquellos que me escribieron por privado que querían saber cómo se hacía el verdadero chimichurri tradicional argentino. Chicos, los ingredientes básicos que necesitamos son perejil, tengo 5 cucharadas que son más o menos aproximadamente 40 gramos, más o menos, ¿eh? Tengo 3 cucharadas de orégano, 2 cucharadas.
She's got on the green one right here is chopped parsley on the first bowl on your right-hand side. Second bowl is dried oregano. Okay. Third bowl with her hand is she's got dried chili flakes. Next one is black pepper. I would suggest cut back tremendously on the black pepper. The next one, she's got salt. The cup behind her, in front of her, right here, the clear looking one that looks like a urine test, drug test, she's got sunflower oil. But you can use canola or vegetable oil. And then you have red wine vinegar. And in the third cup, she has warm water. And somewhere on this side, she has chopped fresh garlic. The ratio of oil to vinegar is 1 part oil and about 1/4 of a part red wine vinegar. Okay.
That sounds like a really good chimichurri sauce.
It is. It is good sauce, yeah.
Picante. Una cucharadita de pimienta negra, una cucharadita de sal, 2 dientitos de ajo. Por otro lado, en los líquidos tengo un cuartito de agua, de agua tibia, medio vasito de vinagre de vino y un vaso de aceite de girasol. Una cosa a tener en cuenta siempre es que las proporciones del aceite y el vinagre son así. Por 1 de aceite, medio de vinagre, ¿ok? Bueno, chicos, súper fácil. Vamos a empezar. Vamos a mezclar primero todos los secos y después vamos a ir agregando los demás ingredientes. Tan fácil como esto. Ponemos el orégano, le agregamos el ají molido y a esto lo...
So she has the oregano and the garlic and the chili flakes. She's going to add the warm, lukewarm water to this mixture to rehydrate it, okay? That's why you need to have lukewarm water. And if you can't find fresh parsley at the store, dried parsley will work as well too. But just make sure you add it with your dried ingredients in your lukewarm water.
Vamos a hidratar con el agua caliente, el agua tibia. Vamos a poner un poquito de agua y lo vamos a hidratar. Si nosotros no le ponemos el agua tibia, lo que va a pasar es que la hoja, hasta que se hidrate con el vinagre y el aceite, van a pasar unos cuantos días. Entonces, lo que podemos hacer es acelerar el proceso poniéndole agua tibia y todo esto se hidrata y podemos seguir con la receta. Mientras esto se termina de hidratar, le vamos a agregar la pimienta.
But be careful how much black pepper you add because that black pepper makes it spicy. So I would suggest either eliminate it or cut back tremendously. She has 1 tablespoon of black pepper. I would suggest a pinch, okay?
Y la sal. Lo mezclamos y vamos a agregarle el ajito que lo vamos a cortar en pedacitos bien chiquititos.
She's about to chop the garlic, but I don't suggest you do what she does with how she chops her garlic. Okay, when she's chopping it, like, I'm having an aneurysm. My forehead is popping because I'm like, you're gonna cut yourself, woman. But she's been doing it for a while. Okay, so don't do it like she does.
Bueno, yo lo que hago es cortar el ajo bien chiquito, lo hago así medio cuadriculado y después lo corto. Ustedes lo pueden cortar en la tabla como sería lo adecuado, pero bueno, es cuestión de costumbres. Ahora cortamos.
That looks dangerous.
Yeah, plus she has all the garlic.
My mom cuts stuff like that way too much.
You get used to it, and you find your way around it. It's the feel in your hand, but to us, like, you got to cut yourself. Another thing too, by doing it like
that's scary looking.
Yeah, you get garlic all over your hands too. She's going to talk about how to remove the garlic smell out of your hands because it'll stay with you forever, for a while. So yeah.
Sticky too.
Yeah.
Queda mucho más sutil cuando estamos comiendo las carnes o lo que vayamos a condimentar, que no nos encontremos con un pedazo de ajo grande, que queda medio feo. Chicos, me imagino que más uno debe estar diciendo, yo le
Oh, Mr. Camp. Yeah.
Truquito para el que no lo sepa. Cuchillito de metal y frotamos los dedos así. Tin, 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 sin jabón, sin nada, Simplemente frotamos los dedos, frotamos mucho, mucho, mucho. Después nos enjuagamos las manos, ponemos un poquito de detergente o jabón y van a ver que no queda ni un poquito de olor en los dedos. Buenísimo el truquito. Ahora sí, revolvemos bien el ajo y le vamos a agregar el perejil.
Last thing that should go in is your fresh chopped parsley. But again, if you can't find it, use dry parsley. I made this chimichurri for my niece back in Cali about 2-3 weeks ago, and I was showing how to make it on video and pictures, and I couldn't find fresh parsley, so I bought the dry one. You can use that too. You just mix it at the beginning with your lukewarm water.
So not cilantro?
No, not cilantro. Yeah.
Okay.
El vinagre y después el aceite. Agregamos el vinagre. Hay gente también que le pone limón,
You can also, like I said, she uses about half a cup of vinegar. You're going to reduce it to like a quarter of a cup. So 1 cup of oil, quarter of a cup of vinegar, and then a dash of lime juice. Lime juice, not lemon juice. Lime juice gets a little more sweeter.
A mí me gusta más con vinagre. Hay muchas maneras de hacerlo, ya como les dije antes. Pero esto no se lo pierdan, que va a quedar buenísimo y no se van a arrepentir. Perfecto. Así vamos a dejar que se hidrate un poquito, que el vinagre empiece a absorber, las hierbas empiezan a absorber el vinagre, mejor dicho. Una cosa que...
And you mix it all together, so make sure that the vinegar soaks up. I mean, all the flavors are soaking in the vinegar, and the vinegar soaks up all the flavors too, so you have more flavor on the palate.
Quiero decir, si no llegan a tener vinagre de vino, le pueden poner vinagre común, el blanco, pero lo ideal es el vinagre.
She also talks you can utilize, she said you can utilize white distilled vinegar. I suggest not to because it is too strong, too acidic. So don't use white distilled vinegar. Don't use apple cider vinegar. Don't use champagne vinegar. Don't use balsamic vinegar. The only vinegar you can use for chimichurri is red wine vinegar. It has more of a subtle flavor, not too strong. It is very suitable. Very suitable chimichurri. Mr. Ken.
Why does it look like that?
Huh?
I said, why does it look like that? It looks so dark.
You'll see in a minute. I did post a link on the chat room, Mr. Cam. So when you go when you're done, you can go back and look at it when we're done with class, so you can get caught up on the chimichurri. Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right. I got you.
Okay.
Toque muy característico. Miren, todavía está ahí abajo el vinagre, que a poquito va a ir absorbiendo. Lo ideal para comer el chimichurri sería que lo dejemos de un día para el otro, Cuanto más días tenga así conservando.
And the longer it sits in your cooler, the more flavors are going to bloom overnight. She's talking about if you do it a day ahead, the next day is going to have more pronounced flavors.
Hidratándose, el sabor va a ser mucho más rico. Para terminar, le vamos a agregar el aceite de girasol. El aceite de girasol, ¿por qué? Pues si le agregamos aceite de oliva, ya le cambiaría totalmente el sabor, y el aceite de oliva, según qué aceite le pongamos, queda hasta un poco amargo.
She uses sunflower oil. She says don't use olive oil, and don't use olive oil, guys, because olive oil is too strong, too bitter, and it'll change the flavor, it'll make it really bitter, and will not be able to taste any of the flavorings at all. But if you don't have sunflower oil, use regular canola or vegetable oil. It's fine too. Okay.
quiero que vean cómo quedó.
Chef, it kind of cut out. You said not to use olive oil and to use canola or vegetable.
Yes, do not use canola. I mean, do not use olive oil. Use canola or vegetable oil. She's using sunflower oil. You don't have to. You can just use regular vegetable or canola oil.
Okay.
Miren, esto es importante. Ahora ustedes lo van a ver así que está un poco como.
And that is chimichurri. That is the way it's supposed to look like. That is the consistency, and that's what's inside the recipe. Very simple to make. The longest it's going to take you is to chop that garlic. Okay. So, in total essence, that should take you no more than 30 minutes to make, but you guys can probably knock it out in 15 minutes. Okay. If you don't have any fresh garlic, you can just use the dry garlic. Okay. So that's chimichurri. Any questions?
You said earlier too, like if we don't have that stuff to put all of the dry ingredients in that lukewarm water, would we include that with the garlic or?
No, the garlic goes at the end. Once you have the oregano, if you have dry parsley, the chili flakes, salt and pepper, and then the water, and then the vinegar, and then the oil at the end, and then the garlic. Okay.
Okay. And like, what if we have like the jar of minced garlic already? Like, because I have a couple of those, but not like actual cloves.
Be careful with minced garlic. They tend to absorb the flavor of the plastic jar or the glass jar, and sometimes they come with preservatives in it, so they're going to have a different flavor.
Okay, so just stick with the garlic powder.
No, it's with fresh garlic.
Okay.
Garlic powder doesn't work. Pre-chopped garlic in the jar has preservatives, so sometimes they might have the plastic flavor to go with it.
Okay, so all right.
Can I use my fresh oregano?
Yeah, use the fresh oregano. Okay.
Hey, so you said 1 part oil to 1/4 part red wine vinegar.
Correct. Okay.
In this case, 1 cup canola oil to 1/4 cup
Correct.
red wine.
Okay. And that chimichurri is not to marinate your steak for grilling. Okay. It's not to pour it on top and hide all the beautiful medium rare temperature of your steak. That chimichurri, as you see on the middle of the picture, it's a side dipping sauce for your steak. You can sprinkle some of it on top, but don't hide the doneness of the steak. All right. Showcase. You can cook a medium rare steak and then sprinkle it with some little bit chimichurri and serve some on the side. Okay.
Yes, chef.
So you got steak, French fries, chimichurri. Okay. Next one up. Empanada dulce. Okay. Empanada dulce. Now the recipe says use peanut butter and bananas, but you can stuff in with whatever you want. If you got some strawberry jam, go for it. Okay. If you got some orange marmalade, go for it. Okay. It doesn't have to be peanut butter and bananas. Okay. You can stuff it whatever you want, but it's in the empanada fold. Okay. So do some research how to make the empanada fold, or you can also do them like you see here on the left-hand side picture. They use a fork to crimp them. That has more of the look of a ravioli. Okay. So true empanada is the one on the right-hand side you see here, or the fluted empanada fold, which is a little bit bigger than the one on the left right-hand side. Okay. And then you're gonna make a strudel dough for the next day. Strudel dough. Strudel dough, it's a flaky laminated dough. It resembles puff pastry, resembles a little bit of croissant. Okay, so the recipe in the portal, it works, but treat it as a laminated dough. You got to give it its time. You can make this one ahead of the game too, a day before if you want to, because it's going to take some time. Strudel dough for the next day on Wednesday, because Wednesday is Germany. Okay. No, don't use a food processor. You chop it by hand. Okay. Because what happens in the food processor, a lot of times the blade will just macerate it, and it'll turn into the flavors are going to be a little bit bitter. Okay. Where we at? Okay. Any questions about Tuesday's menu?
Oh, so the recipe for the strudel dough should be on the portal?
It is in the portal, but you got to treat it like a laminated dough. Okay. But if you have a better one, I suggest use the one you have, and you can find one better than the one in the portal. Okay.
Okay.
Can we make the empanada dough tonight?
You
Or
can
is
make
it
it
something
tonight.
we can make?
No, you can make it tonight.
Okay.
Okay. So are we cool with that? Are you guys okay with that menu? I mean, it's really easy day tomorrow, okay? You got a steak, French fries, chimichurri, and empanada, right? Was it 4 recipes? Okay. And the steak, don't cook it way too early. Cook it almost towards the end. Have your empanada done first, your empanada and then your chimichurri, and then work on the French fries. And the last thing that you do is cook your steak. Okay. Once it's cooked, pan sear, set it aside, let it rest for a few minutes, and then slice it and present it. Many questions on that one? All right. Let's go to the next day, which is a little bit more, we're going to cover a lot more ground area on this one, okay? Germany. Oh, another land of the carnivores. Germany. Okay. That's on Wednesday. Okay. That's coming up on Wednesday. Okay. So Germany, we're going to talk about some fun facts. Okay. Come on.
Make some beer for extra credit.
So microbrew, I don't know. Germany consists of 16 constituent states. Capital largest is Berlin. Germany covers an area about 357,000 million square miles. The state of Texas, United States, is roughly 1.9 times the size of Germany. That's how big Germany is. Population is about 80 million inhabitants. Most populous member of the state, European Union. Germany is a major economic and political power in the European continent and a history leader in many cultural, theoretical, and technical fields. After the United States, Germany is the second most popular migration destination in the world. German cuisine, what comes to mind when you think about German cuisine? Sauerkraut, bratwurst, German chocolate cake, and beer. Lots and lots of German beer. Right, okay. There are a lot of differences in cooking traditions with corned beef, potatoes, and beetroots. Also, eel, herring, and eel soup. And corned beef and cabbage is not just an Irish dinner, it's also a German dinner, okay? German meal. Beetroots, there's your eel soup, and there's your herring on the right-hand side. I'll skip the herring, and I'll skip the eel soup, okay? Spargel, also known as white asparagus, braten, spatel, and bootsie. A late breakfast with those wonderful brown breads and wurst in the south. Like I said, meat lovers, okay? Breakfast, also known as Frühstück, commonly consists of breads, toast, and other bread rolls with jam, marmalade, or confiture. Marmalade or honey, eggs, and strong coffee or tea, milk, and cocoa juice are served for children, okay? Deli meats such as ham, salted meats, and salami are also commonly eaten on bread on the morning as various cheeses. Variety of meat-based bread such as Leberwurst, literally means liver sausage, oh yeah, can be found during breakfast as well. Slap some liverwurst and some bread, I'm all set. Traditionally, the main meal of the day has been lunch, Mittagessen, eaten around noon. More meat. Dinner, Abendessen or Abendbrot, always a smaller meal, often consisting only of a few variety of breads, meat or sausages, cheese and some kind of vegetable, similar to breakfast or possibly sandwiches. However, in Germany, as in other parts of Europe, dining habits have changed over the last 50 years. Today, many people eat only a small meal in the middle of the working day and work and enjoy dinner in the evening at home with their whole family. Meat. Pork, beef, and poultry are the main varieties of meat consumed in Germany. Pork being the most popular. Average annual meat consumption is about 130 pounds per capita. Among poultry, chicken is the most common, although duck, goose, and turkey also consumed. Game meat, especially boar, hare, and venison, also widely available, especially in the autumn and winter. Lamb and goat are less popular. Meat is usually braised. Pan-fried dishes also exist, but this recipe is also originated from France and Austria. Several cooking methods used to soften up the cuts have been involved in national specialties, including sauerbraten or sour roast, involving marinating beef, horse meat, or venison in vinegar or wine vinegar mixture over several days. A long tradition of sausage making exists in Germany. More than 1,500 different types of sausages. German wurst are made, most wurst is made from natural casings of pork, sheep, lamb, or intestines. Among the most popular and most common are bratwurst, usually made of ground pork and spices, and wiener, Viennese, which may be pork or beef that is smoked and fully cooked in water bath, and bloodwurst, blood sausage. And Schwarwurst, black sausage made from blood, often pigs or geese. Usually types of cold cuts are available. These may be regional specialties such as Munchner or Witwurst, which Munich white sausage, probably Bavaria, and the currywurst developed in the region other than steamed pork sausage or venison in bratwurst. Sliced and spiced with curry ketchup, popular in the metropolitan areas of Berlin, Hamburg, and Ruhr area. Strict regulations governing what may not be put into them have been enforced in Germany since the 13th century. In the market ordinance in Landshut, 1236, it was set down to only the top quality meat could be made into sausages. Okay. They also eat a lot of fish. Smoked sprat, salted waterfish, Alaskan pollock is the most common. Popular freshwater fish of the German menu are trout, pike, carp, and European perch. Also listed frequently, seafood traditionally was restricted to the northern coastal areas, except pickled herring, which often serve as fresh braten, as roll mops. Pickled herring, lifted, rolled into a cylindrical shape, around a piece of pickled gherkin or onion. And brathering, fried marinated herring. Today, many sea fish, such as fresh herring, tuna, mackerel, salmon, and sardines, as well as established in the country prior to the Industrial Revolution, and then soon population of the rivers. Salmon were common in the rivers of the Rhine, ebb, and odor. Fish fingers, known as fish backen, popular processed food making use of whitefish such as cod, haddock, pollock, has been battered and breaded. Hello, Long John Silver. Veggie stew. Okay, vegetables are often used in stews. Vegetable soups are also served as side dishes. Carrots, cauliflower, turnips, spinach, peas, beans, broccoli, many types of cabbage are very common. Fried onions are common addition to many meat dishes throughout the country. Circa 1900s, carrots were sometimes roasted in water and the broth used as place in coffee. Asparagus, especially white asparagus known in Germany as spargo, is common side dish for maybe prepared as a main dish. Restaurants will sometimes devote an entire menu to nothing but white asparagus when it comes to season. Spargo season, it's traditional begins April and ends in St. John's Day, June 24th, just finished. Here's some of the top 10 German foods. Okay, Germans are known for their traditional German cuisine around the world. I mean, many people don't know the fact that German cuisine is much more than just sausage and meat. Depending on where in Germany you stay, you will find a big variety of traditional comfort foods. The area around Hamburg is known for fish dishes. Don't forget, don't get fooled with a picture. I'll show you the picture, okay? So here we go. Number one, Spätzle, traditional Swabian egg noodles. This is on Wednesday. This item is on Wednesday, okay? Remember your recipe from Foundations. Funny enough, the most famous German dish, Spätzle, is completely vegetarian. By the way, do you guys know what Spätzle means translated to English? Spätzle, when you translate it to English, means little sparrow.
Oh.
Because the shape of the Spätzle is supposed to resemble the little sparrow.
Hey, Chef, when it says fizzy water, is that
Club soda, Calistoga, Perrier, Topo Chico, any kind of fizzy water.
okay?
Yeah. Swabians are very proud of their Spätzle, so better not call them German pasta. They will get pissed off. Traditional Spätzle is served with a side dish to meat dishes such as schnitzel. It can even be a main dish themselves. The most famous way of preparing Spätzle is to top it up with a huge amount of cheese. Mountain cheese for the taste of some Limburg for the most consistency, which is called Kässpätzle. Spätzle originally comes from the area around the Stuttgart and part of the most Swabian dishes. Spätzle. Bratwurst. Not surprising that you already are second place. We have a dish made of pork. Bratwurst is part of every German barbecue, also different from the area to area. The most famous bratwurst are for their short and thin ones coming from Nuremberg. Grill your bratwurst 2 minutes on the side, put it in a bun, and some ketchup, mustard, or rated to this iconic German dish called Bratwurststemmel. Outstanding outside Nuremberg bratwurst, bigger than contains more fat, but no matter the size, bratwurst is part of it. Every German barbecue party. Currywurst. Another sausage, top 3 of the top 10 things to eat in Germany is listed as the world's famous currywurst, an invention in Berlin. Invented in Berlin by Herta Heuer, 1949, and the currywurst is usually made from pork sausage, either wrapped in darm, or without darm. Cut into slices of sausage, now covered in a mix of ketchup and some curry powder, and ready to your German currywurst. Okay. and traditionally served with French fries and white bread. Bratkartoffeln. Germans sometimes are referred to as Kartoffeln as a joke because it seems that every day German is having at least one dish which contains Kartoffeln, which is stereotypes, not true. Is it true that Bratkartoffeln is an excellent way of eating your portion of Kartoffeln in Germany? Slice up some boiled potatoes, slice them in thinly, put them in a frying pan with a lot of oil, bacon, onions, and fry them until they are firm, dark, and crispy. Not the healthiest option, but top 10 things in Germany. So almost like home fries here in Texas.
Chef,
Yes.
can you like send us a video on how to make the spatzel? I forget.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pop it in.
Okay, thank you.
Sauerbraten. It's a dish that you will usually get served when visiting the grandparents of a special occasions. To prepare a sauerbraten, you will need some highlight piece of beef and a lot of thyme. The meat is put up in an oven and cooked slowly in its juices for hours and hours, but the slow cooking in low heat will make the meat incredibly soft and tender. Okay, the meat is put in the oven and cooked for hours and hours. Okay. Multasken. Rumor has it that back in the days, some monks were not allowed to eat any meat during the feasting. Cover some eating some kind of pasta dough so that God could not see them when they were eating meat. No matter the story is true or not, believe it when we said that Slovenian dish. Another fantastic thing to try while in Germany. Maltusken is either boiled or fried and comes with all kinds of stuffing like pork, beef, or even veggie option. Leberkas, of course, another dish made of pork meat is leberkas. Leberkas usually is rather served as a snack during the day rather than the real meal. Leberkas is more of a kind of a sausage that is put into an oven for a long time. Then it's sliced, served with white bread and sweet mustard. Very tasty, but also very heavily. Probably not the healthiest of all German foods. Just think of it like a meatloaf on a bun. Schnitzel, the most famous version of schnitzel is defined as Wiener Schnitzel, which is thinly sliced piece of veal meat covered with flour, egg, and breadcrumbs and deep fried in oil or a lot of butter until it turns golden around the outside. Also very tasty is a schnitzel Wiener art, which is basically.
Tell me we're making this, chef. Tell me we're cooking this.
You're not.
Damn it.
I know. The same, but with pork meat. Many more options to how to prepare schnitzel, where you range from chicken breast to soja to blocks of cheese. Rouladen. If you ever want to cook rouladen yourself, you strongly advise you to go to the butcher shop and ask the butcher for a ready-made rouladen in order to save you a lot of work. You prepare yourself, you need some thinly sliced beef meat, put some mustard, onions, ham, and a pickle inside, roll them up, and put them in the oven to cook for the sauce for some hours. Rouladen is extremely tasty, but every time consuming to a bear. Okay. Goulash. One could argue the goulash is not really German invention, but nevertheless, the Germans love the goulash, and many have taken the original recipes and turned them into some variations of their own. Goulash made with thick pieces of beef meat and they have been slow cooked in a rich sauce, sometimes made out of red wine, which makes the meat very soft and tender. Goulash can be eaten as a soup or with some dishes like spatzel. Switzerland, the next stop. Switzerland. Okay. Brief history. A long history of armed neutrality. Has not been in a state of war international since 1815. Switzerland also is the birthplace of the Red Cross, home to numerous international organizations, including the second largest UN office. Capital is none, but Bern is considered in facto. Official languages, German, French, Italian, and Romanesque. Population of about 8 million. Switzerland has the highest nominal wealth per capita per dwelling in the world. Swiss basic food items include huge selection of white bread, white, whole, or wheat, dairy products such as milk, yogurt, butter, and of course a great variety of the world's famous Swiss cheese. Also important vegetables including beans, carrots, cauliflower, potatoes, spinach, etc. Sausages and meat, mainly veal, pork, chicken, turkey, are served in many different ways: grilled, cooked, sliced, or cut. Side dishes include French fries, rice, potatoes, different types of pasta. Fruits are available from all over the world. Locally grown fruits include apples, pears, grapes, different types of berries such as blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, and red currants and strawberries. Finally, a lot of sweets, including the second type of food that Switzerland is known for, Swiss chocolate. I'm not talking about the Swiss Miss from the store. Top 10 foods in Switzerland. Number 1, fondue. Fondue in Switzerland may seem cliche, but it's inevitably woven into the country's fabric. For centuries, Swiss living in the mountains rely on fondue as a way to use bread and cheese during colder months. Today is a must-have for any local visitors in the country from autumn to spring. Dunk some rustic country bread into the melted cheese, Offer a little moti gruyere vecheron. Infuse slashes with wine and garlic. Bubbly over an open flame. Pair with some white wine. Snaps, and you're ready to go. Have you guys ever heard or eaten at the melting pot restaurants?
Heard of it? I've never been there yet.
It's good. They got a melting pot, literally.
Yes, their menu is a prefix menu, and they have, like Nathan said, there's a melting pot in the middle of the table. They bring the food and you cook your own food. Nothing is cooked. They have one of those things in the middle with the pot, the burner, the white wine, the water, the courtyard, whatever, and then you cook your own food as you go. And it's real intimate. It's real cool, but it's expensive to cook your own food. Leeks with potatoes and sausage, papet vados, another dish. Rosti, what does that look like to you guys?
Looks like hash browns.
Like a pizza.
Bingo, hash browns in the shape of a pizza. It's a giant hash brown pizza-ish. Okay, and then you remove it, slide it back in, and cook both sides nice and golden brown. You take it and you slice it. Thinly grated potatoes, pan fried until crisp and golden. Rosti is one of the Switzerland's iconic national dishes. Though no one knows when the first rosti was cooked up, farmers in the canton of Bern would traditionally eat it for breakfast. It is now found throughout the country and across mealtimes, where building winter tradition indulged in a rosti valaisie from the Canton Valais, served with a steaming ceramic dish. Rosti valaisie is a delightful additive mashup of rosti topped with salty bacon, fried egg, and melted bracelet cheese, served with, alongside tangy gherkins and pickled pearl onions. Basil-style roasted flour soup. You heard that right. Roasted flour soup. Okay. It was once said that a girl from Basel could not marry until she knew how to make roasted flour soup. There are countless ways to make the dish. At its most basic, it is simply flour, butter, onion, and beef stock. What does that sound like?
So it's basically bechamel with onion.
Veloute.
Or veloute, yeah.
It
So
is.
just like gravy soup.
Pretty much with onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, veloute. Top with the surgetting Gruyere. Legend has it that the soup was created when a distracted cook was chatting away, leaving flour cooking in a pot until accidentally brown. Rather than ditch the mishap, it was turned into a dish that has endured. The soup is now a must-have at Basel Carnival, which is officially launched, serving of it at 3 a.m. you eating brown roux veloute. Okay. Bracelet. Sense of wood-burning fires and pine waft through the Switzerland's roads and cooler months. Step into the most hillside haunts, and the fragrance of pungent melted cheese also will greet you. Hailing from the Canton Valais, Bracelet is local cheese, custom and grill, slowly over fire with layer by melted layer slice off of blanket boiled potatoes, pickles and onions. Contemporary Bracelet machines make grilling commonplace in Swiss homes, where the friends gather for hours waiting for slices of Bracelet to melt while drinking copious glasses of Pendant wine. Okay. Zurich-style ragu or veal and mushrooms. Zurich-style diced veal is an iconic national dish that makes a hearty wintertime lunch made of sliced veal, calves, kidneys, and sweetbreads. Here we go. More sweetbreads. Up there on that gravy, onions, butter, white wine, cream, and mushrooms. It's old school favorite hails from Switzerland's most dynamic German-speaking city that has found its way justifying to the menus around the country. The mixture of cream laced with wine over veal. Zürcher Gisto is also known for Swiss German dialect, so the like of the pissed off. Piste. Tarteleff was conceived near the French-Swiss border in the department of Haute-Savoie, home of the local Reblochon cheese. Most of the cheese dates back to the 16th century. Tarteleff was fashioned only out of the 1980s by the Reblochon trade union, effort to help sagging sales, and it worked. Today, Tarteleff is a shaped dish, staple dish at most ski resorts, particularly those in Swiss Romanat. Rustic plate is a starchy combination of thin-sliced potatoes, smoky bits of bacon, caramelized onions, and oozy, nutty, creamy Reblochon cheese, aka gratin potatoes with bacon. Bern-style Leckerlis, biscuits or hazelnut. Leckerli has a long and treasured history in Switzerland, particularly at Christmas time. During our ancestors' Leckerbahn and German sweets, these spiced gingerbread-like biscuits were given tender hazelnuts rendering their Swiss capital of Bern centuries ago. Sticky, spicy, sweet, regularly are more than worthy of your Swiss culinary bucket list, particularly when dunking in tea. Only in Switzerland does the cheese have seasonality, and between September and April, when the mountains are snow-capped, Mount d'Or Basile pop-ups cheese shops, and it has forever been a century. Soft, pungent cow's milk, cheese is freshly made, with the villages around the Jura region covered with a white wine, garlic, then cooked in the raw wood packaging. Dig into this gooey, creamy cheese served with warm boiled potatoes. It's a delightful winter delight or ritual. Scandinavia, 3 kingdoms, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Next stop. Brief history. Okay. Population, brief history. Northern Europe characterized by a common ethnocultural Germanic heritage, which includes 3 kingdoms, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Population about 20 million and a half. Language is Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, and Norse. Okay. The Scandinavians, well known as brilliant designers, have designed and crafted items for the verification of the table. So let me go back and read this and think about what I'm reading, okay? Scandinavians, widely known as brilliant designers, have designed and crafted items for the beautification of the table. Porcelain, silverware, crystal, and linen. Think. What do we have here in Austin? What kind of store do you think we have in Austin that caters that does that? There is a store here that is pretty much what I just described. Come on, Mr. James. It's close to your house, man. I mean, your apartment. Who?
Is it where you used to work or close by where you used to work?
Designers have designed and crafted items for the beautification of the table. Porcelain, silverware, and crystal and linen. What store has those items here in town that is close to James?
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Say what, chef? Oh, you're talking about that retirement home?
No.
No?
There's a store here that has brilliant designers that have designed crafted items for the beautification of the table. Porcelain, silverware, crystal, and linen. It's a huge store. You can't miss it.
What's it called? I might have seen it.
CV Linens.
I-35, Round Rock.
Like downtown Round Rock or like my side of Round Rock, like the 45 Pflugerville area?
North Round Rock. On I-35.
I don't think I've seen it yet. I'll go check it out though.
Ms. Mallory, Ms. Yossi, any takers?
I have no clue.
No, yeah, same here, no clue.
I don't go to Round Rock.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I was like, I'm not really big. I don't know Round Rock like that.
I'm from St. Louis.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
I think there's one in Missouri too, Mr. Cam. I don't know about St. Louis.
Nah, it's not in St. Louis. It's probably in the Kansas City area.
There it is.
IKEA.
IKEA.
Oh, never mind. That's in St. Louis. Yeah, that's my store. I go in there and build my dream house and then walk out with nothing.
I-35 North, corner of I-35 and 1431, right across from the outlet mall, IKEA.
You are right. Yeah, now, yeah. I've gone, but I hardly go just because it's like, whenever I go with my girls, like they take hours and I'm like, it's so much walking. I'm like, no, like I cannot look at everything in that store. Like it just takes forever to get around.
I gotta try everything out. I gotta be like, this go here, this go in my man cave. Yeah.
I've never been to IKEA.
Oh, you gotta go, Ms. Mallory.
That's like That's actually the opposite side
The
of round
food
rock
is
for me,
bomb and
chef.
it's cheap.
Like
Let's
that's
get the Sam's and I don't know, just picture IKEA.
IKEA
You got everything.
it has the best furniture, but you have to put it together, and you at least have to have 3 people.
But it's an awesome store. If it's on I-35 North, it's on the north side of it where you live at, Mr. James. But it's minutes away from where you live at. It's about maybe 50 minutes away, depending on the traffic. But it's if you go through the A.W. Grimes North and go through the side road, you can probably get a little bit faster. Okay. IKEA, you walk in and they have bukus of items from furniture to an extensive kitchenware section, from glasses, cups, all kinds of linen, pillows. I mean, it's insane. Every time I go there, it's like, ugh, I want this, I want that, I want this. Where's my flatbed truck so I can put all this crap in it? And the prices are not expensive. They're pricely. They're priced accordingly. They're not expensive.
wifey's not allowed to go to IKEA,
So
like
IKEA,
at all.
Yeah, we have that, and there was supposed to be another one being built in South Austin. I don't know if it got launched or not, but there was another one somewhere between Kyle and South Austin supposed to be being built. Anyways, IKEA. If you haven't been there, go there. Okay, even if you just go window shopping. So, anyways,
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as window shopping at IKEA, chef. I'm sure you know this. You always walk out of there with at least something.
I know. I gotta go and buy me some.
Especially that clearance section that they have. Like
that will get you.
I go in. It does. It's like everything in there slightly damaged, or one piece is missing, but that piece is like irrelevant, so that it still stands up or does what it's supposed to do. It's like marked down 70%. It's crazy.
Yeah. So if you haven't, go. If you know what I'm talking about, now you know what I'm talking about. So, what about Scandinavian cuisine? Many things: fish, pork, poultry, as well as beets, potatoes, cucumbers, dill, parsley, and horseradish. Broiled, baked, or smoked apples. Cooking is pure and simple. Descendants of the Vikings, so they consume some of the dishes the Vikings ate. The Vikings love oysters and mussel. Yes. They savor mutton, cheese, cabbage, apples, onions, berries, nuts. All those continue to be staples of the Scandinavian diet. The Vikings raised chickens and geese. They hunted wild birds, elk, deer, and bear. Arr. Just as their modern counterparts did, a few of them more esoteric tastes of the Vikings live on. Okay. So here's some top 10 Scandinavian dishes. Sourdough bread is not just in San Francisco. Sourdough bread, delicious sourdough bread. Red currant squash, excellent for gravlax. Here's the recipe. Somebody's interested in making red currant squash. Easy. Red currants, water, sugar, and vanilla extract. Okay. Beetroot fritters with horseradish, dill, yogurt sauce. What a combination of flavors on the palate. Honey yogurt cheese. I don't know about that one. Spiced meatballs with cranberry compote, yogurt, and dill. Okay. That's
AKA Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs with cranberry sauce, dill, and yogurt. Buried salmon, also known as gravlax. Yeah, gravlax. Not smoked, just pure cured salt. Scandinavian apricot almond bars. So if you go to IKEA, when you pay your stuff, you'll find a little store across from the cash registers. They have all this crap in there. Just FYI. Okay. Also got an awesome food court. Just FYI.
Are you getting a sponsorship from IKEA or something, chef? Because you
No,
keep
I'm
talking about it like it's.
That's an awesome story.
He's either at school or he's at IKEA.
Right.
It sounds about right.
Listen, man. If you're a chef or a cook or like to live in the kitchen, you'll know that when you walk into IKEA, for us, it's a candy store when you go to the kitchen section, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy there.
Yeah.
Like they have so many nice things, so much nice equipment, great food looking items there.
They got scales, like digital scales and stuff.
Oh yeah, they got anything you can think of for your kitchen. They have it there.
Damn.
Cabinets, sinks, stoppers, faucets, lighting, anything, music. I don't know.
That's where I have my knives. Like all my knives, like the ones that I use, like I have all different sizes of knives, from like the little ones to the. I don't even need them. But every time you go, you have to get something.
And aren't the knives cute though?
They are. They are, and they have. That's what it is. They have cute little things that, like different sizes of, like, like just different sizes of a bowl, like different sizes and colors.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah.
As fun as it is talking about IKEA products.
I know. Next one up is pork with rosemary, thyme, and garlic. Okay. Swedish cinnamon butterhorns, or also known as kanelbullar. Okay. So tomorrow, your menu, this is your menu, egg noodles. Okay. So I'm going to pop in, here we go. Okay. I'm going to pop in and tell you guys what not to do tomorrow and what to do. Okay. So bear with me a minute as I'm sharing the screen with you all. Okay. So this is your portal, right? Right. So you're going to go to week 3, okay? You're going to go to Wednesday, right? Wednesday. You're going to click on it, day 13. You're going to click on egg noodles. And I know you guys made spatula in the foundations. Okay, once it's load up and I zoom in, you can tell me what do you see different, or what do you see that is not supposed to be there on this recipe?
Semolina flour.
Bingo. So does your spatula recipe have semolina flour? Question. Nope.
I think so.
Semolina flour and water is your pasta dough recipe. That's for fettuccine or spaghetti. Okay. The one on top, AP flour and 1 egg, is usually supposed to be 0 seal flour, 1 egg, and 1 egg yolk. That's your pasta dough for ravioli. Okay. This is not the recipe for your spatula. It was made on purpose and intentionally to throw you off. Okay, because again, this class is more of a thinking, and a lot of research needs to go in it to figure out what the heck you're making. So if you guys remember from foundations, spatula doesn't have these ingredients. It does have eggs and does have flour. So you need to go to the recipes in the portal, on your portal, go back to Foundations 101 and dig out the recipe for spatula. That's the one you need. Okay, so don't go trying to make this pasta dough for tomorrow. That's not it. Okay, got it. Okay. So with that said done, let me pop in the video, okay, Mr. James, so you can see the the spatula, okay? I'm also going to pop it in the link, okay? Here we go.
Yeah, we made that in, what's that, with Chef Gary.
Yep, spatula, right? And Chef Gary has his Goodwill bowls that he bought and made into, drilled some holes and made into a spatula bowls, right?
Yeah, he made sure we had to bring them back. He
Yes.
made sure of that.
Okay. So here I'm going to pop in the link on the chat room. Okay. You want to watch it as many times as you can, but also going to pop it on the screen so I can show you guys what you guys are looking for as far as the consistency and how the spatula is supposed to look like. All right. Here we go.
Solutions.com with spatula, or as we Americans prefer to pronounce it, spatula. That's right, I'm going to show you how to make the world's smallest dumpling. And while technically that's what they are, I prefer to think of these as the world's easiest free-form pasta, since the taste and texture are very similar, and they will pretty much work with any of your favorite pasta preparations. Plus, above and beyond all that, this stuff is way faster and easier to make than pasta, as you're about to see. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with our spatula batter, which is made with some all-purpose flour, to which we will add 1 large egg. Of course, we'll also need some salt, which we always do, as well as, for me, a little pinch of cayenne, which I'm assuming is rarely added in Germany. But hey, they're live. And then we'll go ahead and finish this up with a spoon of creme fraiche, or sour cream, or yogurt. And then last but not least, a nice splash of whole milk. And believe it or not, that's it. And once all that's together, we will take a whisk and mix this smooth. And then evaluate for consistency. Okay, because what we're looking for is a batter that sort of drips slowly off the whisk and not really run off the whisk. Okay, we don't want this too liquid. So we will give it a mix and check it out. And you see how that's kind of pouring off quickly? Okay, so I think this is a little too thin. And to adjust that, we will simply add a little bit of flour. And conversely, if it's too thick, you'll add a little bit of milk. But anyway, we're going to stir in some more flour and check it out again. And now, as you can hopefully see, it's still dripping off the whisk, but much slower. Okay, so for me, that's looking very good. And then once we've adjusted the texture until we think it's just right, let's go ahead and clean off that whisk with a spatula. Now I'll go ahead and give you one more look at the viscosity we're shooting for. Okay, so forget the exact measurements. You're going to have to adjust until you have something that looks like this. And then once the batter's set, we're going to need some kind of spatula making tool with which to push our batter through into our boiling water. And while you could buy something specifically designed for this, you don't need to, because you probably already have one of these. Your standard cheese grater works perfectly for this operation. As long as the holes are at least this big, it's going to work great. By the way, we're not going to use the side that grates the cheese. We're going to use the other side, also known as the smooth side. And how this works is we simply take some of our batter and transfer that onto our grater. And we use our spatula to push it through, which again is why we want to make sure we're using the smooth side. Okay, nobody wants grated rubber in their spatula.
So check out the consistency of the spatula batter. That's what you're looking for, okay? Cannot be too thin or too thick, okay?
And that is it. A pretty simple technique. Except, of course, we're not going to do it back into the bowl. We're going to do that into some boiling salty water. But before we do that, let's do this. We want to first prep whatever sauce or substance our finished spatula are going to go into. And my personal favorite, a very classic choice, would be some toasted butter. So what we'll do is melt some butter over medium heat and simply cook it, swirling occasionally, until that toasts to a nice golden brown. And yes, if you want to go darker, feel free. Or if you don't want to toast it, you just want to melt the butter, that also works great. Okay, so how you finish this is going to be up to you. You are, after all, the Hansel and Gretel of your spatula. But anyway, you can see how far I toasted mine. And once that's set, assuming we brought some salted water to a boil, we are ready to extrude our batter. So what we'll do is place our batter on top of our grate, a couple spoonfuls at a time. Oh, and by the way, one way you can tell your texture was perfect, the batter won't drip through until you push it with a spatula. Okay, there's a very old German saying that I just made up. If it drips before you push, add some flour so you don't have mush. So not to brag, but this was looking just about perfect. And as you may notice, that's all sort of clumping together in one spot. And there's two reasons for that. One is I'm just looking at the viewfinder and not paying attention, because I should be moving that grater around more as I'm dropping it in. But also, I could have this boiling more furiously. But I did because it was fog in the lid. Having said that, it's not a problem, because when we take the strainer and give it a stir, those will all separate beautifully. Which reminds me, these are considered done when they float to the top, which, as you saw, happens very quickly. So this really is a super fast recipe. And then once those are floating, what we'll do is take a strainer and simply transfer those into our melted butter, or whatever sauce you happen to be using. And we'll repeat that very easy process until our batter's gone. And by the way, this was a very small batch I did, just using one egg. It's only enough for like 2 portions. But the good news is you can scale this up as much as you want. And if you are going to make larger pies, you can totally do this step ahead, and then just reheat these in the sauce when you're ready to serve. So something to keep in mind. But anyway, we'll continue on until our batter's been used up, and all our spatula has been transferred to our pan, at which point we have a few options. Since everything's hot, we can just toss this and serve it. But personally, I like to put the heat back on medium and give these a little bit of a saute for a minute or two. Okay, I don't really brown them, although some people do. And that is a very nice way to do it. But I'm just going to cook these in that hot butter for about a minute or so, just to give them a little bit of time to absorb that beautiful nutty flavor. And of course, as always, we definitely want to give it a taste to see if it needs a little pinch of salt, which mine did. So I tossed them in and gave it one last stir, as well as one last taste. And once we're happy with it, we can turn off the heat, and then possibly finish with a little bit of fresh herb. I had some Italian parsley, so I'm using that. Plus, some freshly snipped chives are also a wonderful choice. So I stir that in, and that's it. Our spatula is ready to serve up. And yes, I'm pretty sure I pronounce that differently every single time I say it. I should have just stuck with spacing, which, by the way, translates to little sparrows. So you could always go with that instead. But anyway, we'll spoon that up, and it's wonderful served as it, or maybe with a little grated of cheese, or even better yet, maybe make a little space in the middle and garnish this with a piece of cider braised pork shoulder. Oh yeah, that would be a great pairing. And I finish that up with a little extra crunch and pinch of parsley. And normally at this point, I would say stay tuned for the pork video. But you know what? I think we already did. But I'll check. And if we don't, we'll do it. But anyway, let's forget about that luscious pork for a second. Let me go in for a taste so I can see how I did on my spätzle. And you know what? I did pretty darn good. They have a beautiful.
So that's spätzle. Easy does it, right? Easy recipe. Any thoughts on that one?
So you have to boil it before you put it in the butter, and you're not like really frying it in the butter.
No.
Giving like some flavor.
Right, a little bit of flavor, and it gives it that toastiness look on the outside, because if you fry it, it's going to dry it out. You don't want to dry it out. So spätzle, that's what you're making tomorrow, okay? The other one, if you can, make some braised cabbage, and now that's fine too, okay? But if you do make braised cabbage, it's got to be in a wedge shape, not shredded. We're not making sauerkraut, okay? The next one on your menu, it's cabbage rolls. Now, on the cabbage rolls, very, very important to pay attention to the cabbage rolls, okay? So you're gonna have your head of cabbage, you're gonna turn it upside down, and where the stem is, you're gonna poke it with a pair knife and remove that stem gently. Now you may take the head of cabbage and gently peel off the outer leaves, but you don't have to stick together like crazy glue. You may grab the cabbage roll, the cabbage head, and get a pot of water and slowly set it down in a boiling pot of water for a few minutes, 2-3 minutes, and take it out, drain it, don't burn yourself, and set it aside, and then peel the outer leaves. It's going to be a lot easier to peel those outer leaves while they're semi-poached, because they're going to be more pliable. As if you try to peel them when they're nice and crispy, you're going to probably tear a few. You can still do so, but just got to be extra careful. Okay, so you're going to need the cabbage head. You're going to need pre-cooked jasmine rice, just like if you cook it the last week. Steamed jasmine rice, no salt, no butter, just plain rice. A cup of rice would be fine to cook. And your ground pork and some spices, maybe some oregano, some whatever herbs you got. Not too many herbs, too different. Maybe some rosemary. So you're going to have your cabbage set aside. If you peel the cabbage leaves out of the head, dunk them in hot water to make them pliable, but don't cook them until they're olive green. Just for a few minutes to blanch them, take them out and shuck them in nice water and put them aside, dry. Have your pre-cooked rice, your seasonings, salt, pepper, and no paprika, no cayenne pepper either, and then your ground pork and 1 egg, okay? You're gonna mix all these ingredients, ground pork, egg, salt, a little bit of pepper, some flavorings, and your cooked rice all together, okay? You're gonna mix them all together. And then you're gonna grab the cabbage roll, okay? You're gonna put the ground pork mix right here. You're gonna fold the sides inwards. You're gonna fold the bottom inwards and start rolling it, okay? Like this little burrito, chimichanga, egg roll, lumpia, cigar, blunt, doobie, whatever you want to call it, okay? They're going to be about this big, give or take, and about this round, this thick, okay? The reason when you want to put the pork raw, when you make the mixture, so when you get them out of the pan, okay, so you're going to put tomato sauce on the bottom. You can play with that too with some oregano, some little bit of salt. Tomato sauce on the bottom, cabbage rolls on top, more tomato sauce, saran wrap the top of the container, aluminum foil, the top of it, in the oven, 350 for about 30-35 minutes, and you're gonna check it with your thermometer. You're gonna stick the thermometer through the aluminum foil and the saran wrap in the thickest part of the cabbage roll until it reaches 165. If it does, put some more coals, let the steam vent out, let it cool down before you can unwrap it, and then remove the cabbage rolls, a little bit of sauce, maybe sauce on the bottom, 1 cabbage rolls on the bottom, and the other one, you're going to cut it in half with a serrated knife, not a chef's knife, because it's going to push it, smoosh it. Serrated knife, so you can open it, and you can see that the cabbage roll, the pork in the middle, nice and firm, not loose and crumbly. That's why you want to mix it with the pork being raw, not cooked. Because what happens if you cook the pork beforehand and then start wrapping it? Once you cut it, it's going to fall apart and crumble. Okay? So that's your cabbage roll. Okay, that's your cabbage roll tomorrow. And then your apple strudel. Okay? Remember, apple strudel is like a laminated dough. It's supposed to be flaky. Okay? There's a recipe in the portal for apple strudel dough. Before strudel dough, if you want to go look at one online, you're more than welcome to do so, as long as you have the ingredients to make that strudel dough. The one of the recipe, 99% of the time, I've only seen it done one time the proper way. The other way is like it's real dense, it's not laminated, so it doesn't puff up. So the bottom of the strudel, it's thick and it's raw. Everything else is brown on the outside, but it's still raw in the middle because the dough has been overworked. Okay. Any thoughts on that one? Okay, and you can, there's a video here. I'm gonna see if I can pop the link. There you go. Okay, this person, that's strudel dough, but it's uses puff pastry. Okay, so there's the link on the chat. You may go watch it as your own time. How to make the strudel, and again, don't utilize puff pastry. Make your own strudel dough. Okay. That's the one for tomorrow. Any questions on that one? Okay. Let's move on to, what was that, day 13? Let's go to day 14. What's coming up? Okay. So day 14, looking at Spain. Okay. Spain. So on this day, you got, I think 7 recipes on this day to make. All right. Spain. Let's take a look at Spain. Brief history. Country in Europe's Iberian Peninsula includes 17 autonomous regions with diverse geographies and cultures. Capital city is Madrid, home to the Royal Palace and Prado Museum, housing works by European masters. Segovia was a medieval castle, the Alcatraz, and the nation intact Roman aqueduct. Catalonia's capital, Barcelona, defined by Antoni Gaudí's whimsical modernist landmarks like Sagrada Family Church. The government debt is about 90.6 GDP since 2018. Capital is Madrid. Population is about 47 million. Currency is euro, not peso, because you're European Union. Some facts about Spain. Okay, not 50, less than that. Not all Spaniards are native speakers of Castilian Spanish. 4 official languages of Spain: Castilian, Catalan, Basque, and Galician. The Basque don't consider themselves French because they're close to the French border. Don't consider themselves Spaniards. They consider themselves Basque. Okay. In Galician, 3 unofficial languages, regional languages: Austrian, Aragonese, and Aranese are in several modern dialects. The Spaniards have a completely different life rhythm from other Europeans. The typical have lunch between 1 and 3 p.m. and dinner around 10 p.m. Flamenco is not actually a dance. It is a musical style which sometimes has dancing in it. 50 million tourists go to Spain every year, making it the 4th most visited country in the world. Spain is renowned for its lively festivals, including San Fermin, running of the bulls, Pamplona, and Tomatita battle in Buñol. More than 150,000 tomatoes are usually thrown at La Tomatina. Official name of the Spain is Kingdom of Spain. National anthem, it has no words. There are no laws about public nudity in Spain. Okay, 43% of the world's olive oil production is done in Spain. Spain won the first World Cup football in title in 2010, which made the country the 8th country to have ever won. The tooth fairy is a mere rodent in Spain, referred to as Ratoncito Perez. So the tooth fairy is a rat. Get it? Rat, come and steal your tooth. Favorite of all interesting facts about Spain: breaks, free time, and siestas are a huge part of everyday Spanish culture. Spain was the world's third most popular tourist destination 2013 after France and the US. For this, you have two surnames in Spain. The first surname is from your father, the second is from your mother. Spaniards celebrate New Year by eating one grape with their family for each bell strike of the clock. The quilpen is thought to have originated in Spain for about 1400 years ago. The Spanish often used gestures with or substitute for words, flickering the teeth with a thumbnail, wiggling their fingers from the nose, and grabbing the left arm with the right arm while making a left-handed fist are all thought to be offensive. Madrid is the physical center of the country, and the Plaza Puerta del Sol is exactly the center of the country. Spain has the second highest number of bars per inhabitants. Don't be alarmed, the dirty floor of the bar, it is completely acceptable and normal to throw things on the ground at the bars. Most of the time, the dirty floor means a good bar. Tortilla in Spain are not the same tortillas elsewhere. Tortilla española refers to a very popular egg and potato dish, is what you guys will be making on Thursday. Spanish use the word tortillas to refer to floured corn tortillas. Most households buy fresh bread every day. Traditionally, they're long baguettes called barras or pistolas. Bread is present and required almost every meal. Tomatoes, potatoes, avocados, tobacco, and cacao for chocolate were all imported into Europe by Spain. Though Spain is more famous for its red wine than white, the majority of its vineyards have grapes. Spain is one of the world's largest producers of saffron, an important ingredient in paella. The family of the basis of the social structure includes both nuclear and extended family, which sometimes provides both social and financial support network. The majority of Spaniards are formerly Roman Catholic, although different religious beliefs are accepted. People are often referred to as Don or Doña and their first name with informal occasions. If invited to a Spaniard's home, you can bring chocolates, pastries, cakes, wine, liqueur, brandy, or flowers to the hostess. In business, face-to-face contact is preferred to written telephone communication. Despite being the beret being associated with France, the Basque in northern Spain invented it. It is not customary to tip in Spain, especially for cheap meals. Barcelona has 50 million visitors per year, while Madrid has only 6 or 7. Madrid-Barcelona route was the highest number of flights per week in the world. Spain has more than 8,000 beaches. The name Spain derived from the word España, which means the land of rabbits. Spanish people that are fond of food, famous saying is barriga llena, corazón contento, which translates to a full belly and a happy heart. And we heard that in Mexico quite a lot, right? So here's the Spanish cuisine, okay? Let's take a look at see what they have, okay? 2 basic ingredients of all Spanish food are olive oil and garlic, and a lot of olive oil. However, because Spain has very distinct geographical regions settled by different ethnic and cultural groups, and because the weather varies from province to province, the regional cuisines are very different. Many times only the common ingredients are olive oil and garlic. Here's a list of typical ingredients of foods. Olive oil. Spanish recipes either call for olive oil or lard, mainly an olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is worth the added expense. Spain is the leading producer of olive oil, and olives are grown all over the south of Spain in the region of Andalusia. Many typical Spanish dishes are fried in olive oil because they got so much. Ham, or especially the Spanish say jamón, is a very prized food. Spaniards take their ham very seriously and will pay a high price for top quality ham. You will see different types of menus in supermarkets, but typically it will be jamón serrano or jamón ibérico. You guys have had prosciutto ham in the past, right?
I've had it, Chef.
Yes.
Okay. Or it's called Parma ham. So you got jamón ibérico on the top of the food chain, you got serrano, and you got prosciutto at the bottom of the barrel. Once you have ibérico or serrano, you will never go back to prosciutto. It's way different. It's worth the expense and it's worth in the palate. It's way different. Fish and seafood, because Spain is located in the Iberian Peninsula, surrounded by 3 sides by water. Fresh seafood is always plentiful in markets. Spaniards eat fish or shellfish daily, everything from halibut to shrimp and even octopus. And baby eels is common to markets and restaurant menus. Cheeses, wonderful cheeses every time they can be eaten in Spain. Spanish cheeses are made from sheep, cow, goat, and mixed milk. Types range from aged cheese, such as manchego from the Mancha, to the soft, creamy cheeses, such as the Tetilla from Galicia, and everything in between. Blue cheeses The mature limestone caves, such as cabrales, cheeses can be eaten as tapa as well as during meals for the dessert. Sausages, Spanish love sausage, especially the chorizo, a pork sausage made with paprika. And again, there are many types of chorizo, fresh from soft to smoke and age. Every local market offers a variety, and Spanish families often make their own in the wintertime and hang them in a cellar on the attic to dry. Preparation of spices used in Spanish chorizo very different from the chorizo made in Mexico or the Caribbean. Beef, lamb, and pork, all types of meats in the common that can be roasted, grilled on the coals, or sauteed in the sauce. Generally speaking, Spanish refers to the veal and suckling lamb and pig. Roasted meats are popular dish for holidays and festive occasions. Eggs are eaten daily, either fried, the devil, or Spanish omelet, called tortilla española. Chicken is very popular and prepared every day. Most commonly is fried and stewed, although roasted chicken is sold to go in many small stores. Fruits and vegetables. Spanish people eat a lot of fresh fruits and snacks as they course the meals. A fresh fruit bowl that sits in every kitchen. Simple salads, sauteed vegetables are eaten every day. Popular dishes include sweet peppers, eggplants, and zucchini. Of course, legumes, beans, and chickpeas have been a staple in the peninsula for centuries, and rival breads in the commonly eaten food. The famous Spanish bean dish, probably the cocido madrileño. Okay. So, list of ingredients: nuts. Spanish is one of the top producers of almonds, hazelnuts, and walnuts. Almond-based, milk-based desserts are very common. Turrón, the almond nougat, candy eaten by Christmas, is probably the best. Known to sweets, many recipes of Arabic region contain ground almonds, and almonds were used for centuries in thick sausage stews. However, in Spain, hazelnuts, not almonds, are the most popular nut mixed chocolate. Okay, spices, garlic, onions, herbs, oregano, rosemary, and thyme, regarding more than others. Okay, here's some of the top 10 dishes from Spain. You got gazpacho. It is a chilled cucumber soup. The reddish, ripest tomatoes, olive oil, garlic, red peppers, cucumber blended until silky smooth, then chilled and poured into bowls or glasses. Delicious, so refreshing. And on the Lucia in southern Spain, people have it every day in the summer, and there is always a jug in the counter on tapas bar. Also, try some mojito from Cordoba, a thicker version that is often served with piece of Iberico ham on the top. Paella. In Valencia, the region, they claim you can eat a different rice dish every day of the year, but let's stick with the most traditional version for now. Ingredients for paella include chicken or rabbit, saffron, runner beans or butter beans, but all important elements is the rice. They use calaspra or bomba rice. Here in the States, we use arborio. And you gotta have one of those paella pans. If you don't have it, it's not considered paella. Okay. Tortilla española, it's on the menu Thursday. Eggs, potatoes, onions, that's it. And some pursuits even consider the added onion in the gastronomy crime the highest order. The Spanish omelet is so much more than the sum of its parts. Potatoes and onions are slow fried in olive oil, then mixed with the beaten eggs for the flavors to mix before cooking. And chorizo, ham, and spinach, courgettes, or whatever you have on hand, make a tasty meal out of next to nothing. So that's on your menu. And I'll show you a little part of the video, and you got to catch this lady's name is called Maria when she makes it, okay? It's a technique. Gambas al
It's
ajillo.
like quiche.
Almost like quiche, yeah. It's omelet. Yeah. Gambas al ajillo. You walk into a tapas bar, the barman is handing customer earthware dish of sizzling prawns. The tantalizing aroma hits your nostrils, and you just have to order some more. To get it at home, just fry some sliced garlic, green chili, and olive oil. Throw it into the prawns for a couple of minutes. And now some parsley. It couldn't be simpler. It couldn't be tastier. Okay. Tostas de tomate jamón. Black pigs roam among the oak trees in the western Spain in search of the acorns that give a marble Magneta Iberico ham. It's distinctive nutty flavor. Rub a thick piece of toast with garlic and tomato. Put some olive oil on top and slices jamón for a quick, delicious lunch. Patatas bravas, perhaps the most ubiquitous of tapas. Patatas bravas vary quite a bit around the country, but all versions include chunks of fried potato. In Madrid, bravas sauce is made with sweet or spicy pimentón, Spanish paprika. So pimentón is peppers, okay? Olive oil, flour, and stock, but never tomatoes. Some people add garlic, some dash of Pinot Sherry, while others selfishly insist on keeping their secret ingredient to themselves. Bastards. Pollo ajillo, chicken and garlic. Any Spaniard will tell you that the best garlic chicken is the one the grandmother makes. And of course, they write up the unpeeled cloves, garlic are fried in olive oil to flavor it. Then they take it out before adding a piece of chicken. Then when that's cooked, the garlic goes back into the rosemary, the thyme, and some dry sherry, white wine. But there's no definitive recipe, so much love for this dish. 8, cochinillo asado. People might claim they're going to Segovia to see the outstanding Roman aqueduct, fairy tale castle, elegant cathedral, but really is all that is just a buildup of your appetite for lunch. And Segovia, that means either roasting suckling pig or lamb. The meat is cooked in a huge wood fire ovens, and it's so tender it is cut with a side of earthenware plate. Pisto. Pisto in Spanish, it means booze, right? So in Spanish, vamos a pistear. Let's go drink some, right? Pisto, pisto. It's not the kind of pisto. You're not going to pistear, okay? The Spanish version of ratatouille turns up all over the country in different guises, but it's mostly typical in towns and villages across the plains. In La Mancha, such as Madrid, onions, garlic, and courgettes, peppers, and tomatoes are also slow-fried in olive oil. This is not that it takes a lot to be rushed. Usually served as a starter, sometimes with fried eggs or chorizo, but it's great as side dish too. And they put an egg on top, you're all set. Turron. Spanish devour massive amounts of turron, almond nougat at Christmas. Most available all year round. Most of it is made in the small towns of Higonga in the province of Alicante. Using locally grown almonds mixed with honey and egg white. There are 2 types, soft, smooth version. Callejona, a hard Alicante turron, which contains pieces of almond. So here it is, your menu for Thursday. Take notes, guys, take notes, okay? Tomato bread, okay? You're gonna make tomato bread on Thursday. 2 times the yeast, okay? 2 times the yeast. Whatever the recipe says, times 2. If you want to round it up, go ahead, okay? Why? Because it has tomato juice. It's a lot heavier than water. And the double yeast is going to help it proof better, okay? Also, the tomato juice needs to be sitting at 90 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit to activate the yeast. Even if you buy dry active yeast or active yeast, still needs to be 90 to 110 degrees, the tomato juice. You're going to take the tomato juice, heat it up on your stovetop, and make sure that you hit it, keep it on 90 to 110, and then go ahead and mix it with your yeast, okay? 2 times the yeast, tomato juice, 90 to 110 degrees, okay? Sofrito, easy does it, chop it up, saute it, set it aside. Not so juicy that'll bleed on your plate. That is your side comment for your tomato bread, okay? Roasted pork loin, okay? Easy does it. The recipe on the portal, I think it has smothered pork chops, right? So you're gonna use pork chops instead of pork loin. Pork loin takes a long time to cook, and it'll be worthless to buy a whole pork loin and then roast it just for one, okay? So pork chop is fine too, okay? Nice and seasoned and seared off, and then just finish them in the oven, okay?
How thick on that pork chop?
It can
Just
be
like
a thick
thin one?
No, it can be a thick pork chop, so you can have a nice, cut in it, okay? You got the thin ones at Walmart. You got also the thick cut, a little bit thicker cut at H-E-B, maybe like about an inch and a half thick, be fine. Okay, even if you do 1 or 2, that's fine, okay? And you have smoked tomato and red bell pepper coulis, okay? For this one, I think you're gonna use smoked paprika, and that is about the only time you're gonna use it because it is so strong, okay? So the trick on that one is to make sure that you roast the peppers, okay? You want to fry them, go ahead. You want to char them on top of your gas burner, go ahead. If you want to roast them in your electric oven, go ahead. As long as they're all charred on the outside, you're going to take them when they're charred and put them in a bowl with ice water, okay? Yes, you're going to shock it. Take a towel, wet it, and put the pepper in the middle of the towel, and when your hands go back and forth, up and down, and the wet towel is going to act like sandpaper. It's going to remove the skin off the pepper for you. Instead of doing it by hand, it's having all this huge mess, okay? That's the easiest way to do the roast pepper and remove the skin, Okay. And then tortilla española. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to pop in a video for tortilla española, and I will stop it when after Maria shows the tortilla española. So you're going to see a couple of cool items beforehand, but keep an eye on the tortilla española. Okay, guys? So it's a 13-minute video. I'm not going to play it all. If you guys want to watch it later on at your own time, by all means, go ahead. But I will plug in the link on the chat. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna just go drop my AC for a few degrees, and I'll be right back. Right.
Say the word tapas to an American chef, and chances are they'll respond by thinking Spain. But say tapas to a Spaniard, and most likely they'll come back with Andalucía. So what are tapas? While the actual origins may be lost to history, many people believe the tapas custom actually originated right here in Andalucía. But what are tapas? And how did this tradition of tapeando begin? Going from bar to bar, catching up with friends, having a little bite of something delicious, and a glass of chilled fino.
A little brief history about tapas. If you want to reconstruct your menu and present a tapas out, by all means, okay?
A sherry, or nowadays more often beer, to wash it down. According to Enrique Becerra, owner of Becerra Restaurant and Tapas Bar in Sevilla, tapas began an aristocratic club in Sevilla where no drinks were served. Waiters were sent out for a glass of sherry to quench the noble thirst. Returned with a glass covered with a tapa, a lid, on which there might be a slice of delicious jamón ibérico or a slice of Andalucia's traditional goat's milk cheese.
The glasses of sherry wines come tapped with a paper for the dust of the street. But when the days of wheel, the paper was flying. What made the people of the bar put inside on the paper bread and ham or cheese or chorizo?
Tapas might be as simple as a plate of almonds fried in the region's best olive oil, or a plate of green olives, or big red shrimp grilled a la plancha on the flat top. And any kind of fried fish is always welcome. Or the Spanish classic tortilla, a thick omelet packed with potatoes and onions, cooked in olive oil.
And Maria's going to come back and actually showcase how to make the tortilla española. Okay, he just touched bases right now, but she's actually going to come back and she'll make the tortilla española.
Tapas are often self-contained dishes, and the way they are served will influence the recipe. Are they appetizers, snacks, finger food, canapés? Tapas are all of those and more, a model of the easygoing Andalusian way of life, and an example of the region's incredibly mixed background, and a great way to experience a lot of different flavors in one sitting, or standing, as they often do. The quintessential tapa, one that's offered just about everywhere, from the most down-home taverns to upscale bars and the sleek hotel lobbies, is simply called tortilla, not to be confused with Mexican tortillas.
Here we go. This is what Maria is going to showcase how to make tortilla española. Okay, guys, this is on your menu for Thursday. Close attention.
It is a sort of flat omelet made with potatoes and onions, richly fried in olive oil. Maria Garcia Murillo makes her tortilla in the classic way, starting with plenty of olive oil. In this case, she uses Castillo de Canena's own picual. She adds potatoes to the hot oil, then onions and a little salt, and cooks the vegetables together until they are thoroughly softened. 3 eggs are beaten together, and then the potatoes and onions, drained of their oil, are added to the egg mixture. Now a little fresh oil is added to the pan, then the eggs. Finally, the moment of truth. It takes great dexterity to flip over this tortilla, but Maria has been doing it about once a day for many years. It is then cut in wedges for service. Indeed, some authorities claim it as the true height of Spanish and Andalusian gastronomy.
Tortilla española, guys. That is how it's made, and that is a technique. So my suggestion would be when you flip it over, do have a lid bigger than your omelet pan or your pan to flip it on top. And then when you flip it on top of a sheet tray or your sink or your countertop, not on your floor, because you may the oil might run hot down your arm, it might burn. Okay, so always with safety in mind first, flip it on the countertop just in case you burn yourself. You drop it, it goes on the countertop, not on the floor. So don't burn yourself. Okay, and then when you flip it, pan back and then slide it back into the pan upside down to cook the other side, and then slide it on a plate just like you saw. Okay, it is a potato and onion omelet with chorizo. If you can find chorizo, only use a very small amount because chorizo is very strong in flavor. It has a lot of smoked paprika, and a lot of sodium. Okay, so don't use a lot. And when you use it, make sure that it's fine dice, small dice. Okay, not a lot. Okay, that is tortilla española. Any questions? So it is a very cool video. I will suggest you guys watch it. Watch the rest of it sometime and get some more inspiration on how to make your menu for Thursday, maybe tapas style. Okay, maybe tapas style. Have fun with it. Okay. So tortilla española on Thursday. Your next item is, where you go? Well, that's it. You got tomato bread. You got sofrito. You got pork loin, smoked pepper coulis, and tortilla española. Any thoughts on that one? Oh, we're going quite fast. My goodness. Okay. So out of Spain, right? Let's check into France. Coming up on Friday. Okay. Friday, France, day 15. Day 15, France on Friday. Okay. Facts about France. Okay. 26 in the country had 82.6 million international visitors, which was about 7 million more than both the US and Spain. Main attractions, of course, Paris and Disneyland, believe it or not. Okay. Number two, they know that France uses 12 different time zones. At first, might sound like shocking, but if you think about it's not that strange since the French have colonized a big part of the world. Within the French territory in Europe, only one time zone is being used in but continual areas outside Europe, and it stretches over 12 different time zones. These areas include Martinique, Guadeloupe, French Polynesia, French Guyana, Reunion, or New Caledonia. Okay. Three, among the many inventions, some of the notable ones are the hot air balloon, pasteurizer, stethoscope, and the parachute. Each of these has changed over the world. Okay. Recent years is one more particular famous French invention, namely the cell phone camera, which was first developed by Philippe Kahn back in 1987. Cell phone camera, France, 1997. Number four, pretty funny fact about France, at least for us people in Sweden, they also have many roundabouts. However, the roundabouts have been taking a few steps further with more than 30,000 in total in France. 30,000 roundabouts. I will go crazy in those roundabouts. Imagine just like, I feel like Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner. Number five, back in 2016, a historical decision was made where France became the first country in the world to ban supermarkets and food stores from throwing away burn unsold food. From now on, all redundant food must be donated. I think that's a great idea, man. Still throwing away food just has to be donated. The guillotine was introduced as the official way to execute people back in 1792. Simple way that also let people watch offenders get their punishment. Luckily, the death penalty was abolished in 1981. Yikes. Louis the 21st was king for 20 minutes. The shortest period a king and queen has ever reigned over the country was when Louis the 21st technically couldn't claim himself as the king of France. It took about 20 minutes before he abdicated from the throne. and he never really ruled the country. The biggest country in the EU, in measure the lands, if you measure the land area, France is the biggest country in the EU, and the second biggest country in the European if you don't count Russia. Ukraine is bigger, but is yet to become a member of the European Union. And for the majority of Russia, is located in Asia. In the 50s, it was decided that it should be allowed to marry a dead person. So in France, you can marry a dead person. In the 50s, it was decided you can marry somebody that has been deceased under special circumstances. One needs to prove that there were already plans to get married and also send a formal request to the president. The one who marries a dead person will now not inherit, and the family of the deceased must approve the marriage as well. And I will go into number 10. Okay. French cuisine was developed throughout the country, centuries, influenced by many surrounding cultures of Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, and Belgium, in addition to its own food traditions of the long western coastlines of the Arabic, the Channel, and of the course, the island. In the 14th century, Guillaume Terrel in court check known as Talibet wrote Le Evendier, one of the earliest recipe collections of medieval France. In the 17th century, chefs François-Pierre Laverne and Marie-Antoinette Carême spearheaded the movements that shifted French cooking away from its foreign influences and developed France's own indigenous style. Cheese and wine are a major part of the cuisine. They play different roles regionally and nationally with many variations and appellations by the AOC, regulated appellations laws. French cuisine was made important in the 20th century by Auguste Escoffier. We know about the history, right? Auguste Escoffier. Okay, he streamlined the recipes, made them into a couple of days instead of 5 or 6 days. Okay, here's some of the grandfathers and grandmothers of French cuisine. The Polish wife of Louis XIX of France had Queen Marie Lesniska was also had a big influence in the French cuisine. On the right hand side, the guy crossing his arms is Marie Antoinette Carême. He's the one that by trade was a engineer he was trained to be an engineer. He went to school to be an engineer. So all his desserts, all his creations were in the shape of structures. Okay, one of his famous desserts is the croquembouche. Have you guys ever heard of the croquembouche? No? Anybody? You know what it is?
No, I've never heard of that stuff.
Croquembouche is big in France around the holidays. It's a Christmas tree or pyramid shape, because of Taliban, of cream puffs all the way around it. Okay, all the way around it. Cream puffs. They're stuck together with caramelized sugar. Okay, stuck together with caramelized sugar and dusted with powdered sugar. Because of Marie Antoinette Carême. Again, his trade was engineering and architecture. So everything that he made was in the shape of tall structures. And the croquembouche, let's see if I can Google it so you guys can see what the croquembouche looks like. Okay. Croquembouche. Okay. And I had an intern from French that she came to Texas to work with us, and she asked if she could make that for Christmas one year. I said, yeah, go for it, knock yourself out. So this is the croquembouche. Okay.
You know, I think Chef Gary might have showed us that. Looks really familiar.
Mm-hmm. So,
but I didn't know the name of it.
It's the croquembouche is a whole bunch of cream puffs stuck together with caramelized sugar. Okay. And they're big in France. Now you can be a little more creative. Maybe make a cone of aluminum foil, make it nice and firm, and then stick the cream puffs around it, for that look. Unless you want to go all the way out and make it, with all cream puffs. So that's what Marie Antoinette is famously known for. His food is designed to look like big, tall structures. Okay. And of course, we know Escoffier, who had the who streamlined the kitchens, and the culinary brigade, from the executive chef to the sous chef, chef de partie, chef de cuisine, all the way to the commis, to the prep cook and the dishwasher. He also instituted the use of the uniform, from the hat to the scarf to the chef's jacket to the pants. And the chef's jacket were made for a purpose, had they're double-breasted, so in case of an accident, you can take them off with ease, supposedly with ease, and get rid of the jacket before hurting yourself with fire or hot grease. Also, the long sleeves is to protect you from burning your arms. Okay, I know they're a pain in the butt. I roll mine all the time, but it's to prevent you from burning your arms. And the pants are the drawstring baggy pants. Should they catch on fire or should you drop hot grease on them, they can easily be removed because of the drawstring as fast as possible before you can burn yourself. Rather be embarrassed and be on your Fruit of the Looms underwear or your SpongeBob boxers, briefs, than having a burnt skin, right? And Paul Bocuse, who recently died about a couple of years ago. And these are some of the innovations. Haute cuisine is here with the lobster. Okay, again, center of the plate with height. And Nouvelle Cuisine, it's the plate with the soup in it on the right-hand side. And then, of course, they're very well known for their French, their wine-making techniques. Okay, so those are the grandfathers of the French cuisine, and we still use some of the techniques up to date now. Okay, and again, the croquembouche. Take a look at the haute cuisine with a lobster in the middle. Okay, that's part of the Anthony Marie Carême. His technique was center of the plate with height. Okay, so here are the top 10 foods to try in France, okay? When you go to France and all this is done and said with. Soup à l'oignon, onion soup, or French onion soup if you may. Traditional French soup made with onions, beef stock, usually served with the croutons and melted cheese on top, dating back to the Roman times. It was traditionally a peasant dish, and although the current version dates from the 18th century, the soup's unique flavor comes from the caramelization of the onions, which often have a brandy or sherry added to the slow cooking processes. If you're in a soup mood, why not try Marcel's traditional soup de poisson à la rouille? Once a fisherman's favorite, this soup is characterized by a dollop of garlic and a saffron mayonnaise placed on top. And the French onion soup on the left-hand side is traditionally served in the lion's head soup cup or soup bowl. Okay, see right here on the bottom left. It has a lion head embedded on one side and the other one on the other side. That is how French onion soup is traditionally served on the lion's head. Okay. 2, coq au vin. Remember the foundations? Chicken cooked in red wine. And it's when you cut into it, the red wine's color is supposed to be in the chicken meat. Okay.
Like a rooster.
Uh-huh. Quintessential French food was popularized by Juliette Child, becoming one of her signature dishes. The dish sees here chicken braised with wine, mushrooms, salty pork or bacon, lardons, mushrooms, onions, garlic, and sometimes even a drop of brandy. Yeah, Juliette Child, right? Although the name translates to rooster in wine, coq au vin, the braising is ideal for tougher birds. The recipe usually uses chicken or capon, young rooster, okay, capon. The wine is typically Burgundy, although regional variations of the dish exist across France, but the use of local wines. These include Coq Vin Jaunier or Jura, Coq Riesling out from Alsace. Riesling is a semi-sweet, dry white wine. Coq Porky, Beaujolais Nouveau from Beaujolais wine. Believe it or not, there's a Coq and Champagne, cooked in Champagne. Okay, and as you can see from the right-hand side picture, that French breast has been French cut. I mean, the bone has been cleaned. Okay, French cut breast of chicken, coq au vin. Cassoulet, one of my favorite dishes, man. Oh, it is so awesome. It takes about 3-4 days to make because you got to make duck confit, and it has ham, pork, bacon, sausages, all kinds of good things, and duck confit. Cassoulet is a comfort dish of white beans stewed slowly with meat. This typically uses pork or duck, but it can also include sausages, goose, mutton, or whatever else the chef was lying around. Peasant dish originates from the southern France and is popular in Toulouse, Carcassonne, and Castelnaudary. The name of the dish comes from the pot castle, that is traditionally baked in. This pot is a staple of many French homes. Highlight the popularity of this rich, hearty meal that is perfect for those modern winter months, colder months. Have you guys ever had cassoulet?
I don't think I have, Chef.
Oh man, if you ever get a chance to experiment or make one cassoulet, I would suggest you guys do so. You guys get a chance. You got to have duck confit. Duck confit is duck that is seared and is cooked in its own fat. Andouille sausage, bacon or lardons, pork, and I think ham too, beans, breadcrumbs, and it's oh so delicious, man. It is like Thanksgiving in one bite. Okay. Yeah, you can use the duck fat to cook some of the items in it. Okay, you know that gives it more flavor. It's like cooking bacon fat. Okay, duck fat is really flavorful. There's a store here close to a northwest Austin slash Cedar Park, and I've seen it, and it's like a Cajun store, and they have duck fat for sale in the grocery store. I think you can also buy it at HEB. I'm not too sure, but it is sold, duck fat. And beef bourguignon, number 4. Dishes don't get much more typical than than beef bourguignon. The dish hails from the same region as coq au vin, that is Burgundy. And Burgundy in France is the Burgundy capital of the world. Now, except when Judgment Day, for you guys that are wine foodies, wine connoisseurs, there was Judgment Day back in the 80s. There was a blind tasting of Burgundy wines in the States. Okay, blind tasting, and you know how French are with their wines. In the 80s, there was a blind tasting in California, and Burgundy from Napa Valley beat the French Burgundy from France. They call it Judgment Day. It's kind of weird because the 1800s, you know, Vitis vinifera and nasty aphid wiped out about 80% of the vineyards in France and Europe. And the U.S. grafted the vines here and sent them to France and Europe so they can restart their winemaking, the vineyards, winemaking in the vineyards. So they started, you know, repopulating the vineyards and making more wines. And they came in the 80s, and we beat them in the blind tasting with wine. So Vitis vinifera is a nasty aphid. It's like a bed bug in the wine world, and it destroys the vineyards. Australia is phylloxera free. Phylloxera is the nasty aphid. Okay, I'm sorry. Phylloxera is the nasty aphid. Vitis vinifera is what attacks. So Australia is phylloxera free. Argentina is phylloxera resistant because of the mountain regions. Okay, and again, U.S. grafted the vines, sent to France to beat the phylloxera. It's a nasty bug. Anyways, Burgundy, using Burgundy wine from France, slow cook, and you guys remember this on Foundation with Chef Gary, right? Delicious, tender. Chocolate souffle, it's another you must try. And I know you guys made it in 201 chocolate souffle. If you guys are interested, I'm gonna put it in the chat, my recipe for a souffle, okay? It is totally different than the one in school, okay? So I'm gonna just label it souffle. Do you guys interested in making this recipe, okay? What else was in it? Okay.
Chef Miguel.
Yes.
When you say 6 yolks and 6 egg whites, are they separated?
So you're gonna have 6 eggs, right? And you're gonna separate the whites from the yolks, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
There you go. So that's the recipe for the souffle, okay? When I was working in the kitchen back in Cali in the mid-'80s, I was also doing my rounds, and I was in the pastry station selling souffles for the restaurant. I sold back in the 80s about 58 souffles on Friday and Saturday night. And they take about 20, 30 minutes to make each, okay? So 58 souffles I was getting slammed along with other desserts. I had the cheesecake, the chocolate torte, the all kinds. So I had about 7 desserts, and that was one of them. And I had a specialty oven, especially for dessert, for souffles, and none of the other cooks can use it for anything. That was only bought and utilized for the souffles. Now I had 3 souffles. I had the Grand Marnier souffle, I had the chocolate Kahlua, and the raspberry chambord. The one I just gave you, you guys know how to make pastry cream. You can make it a day ahead of the game and save it, okay? And the way to test the souffle, again, every oven is different, but when you open it, just shake it a little bit. If it's wiggly, close it back up again. Because the more you leave the oven door open, the heat is going to escape and your souffle is going to deflate. So you got to be careful on that one, okay? So the Grand Marnier, the only thing that it has is Grand Marnier on the bottom of with the cake crumbs. The chocolate souffle has cocoa powder and the egg yolk pastry cream mixture with a little bit of Kahlua, and it has Kahlua mixed in it in the bottom of the cup. The raspberry chambord has raspberry coulis mixed with the egg yolks and pastry cream, a little bit of chambord, and also chambord inside the cup. So the raspberry coulis in the egg yolk mixture makes it kind of light purple. That recipe I've been carrying with me in my head since 1984, and I have not forgotten about it. It's still the same recipe. So you guys want to experiment with it, go for it, okay?
Thanks, Chef.
So chocolate souffle, okay? And of course it is served with a powdered sugar on top and maybe a doily in the bottom, okay? What else next? Flemish. Flemish means cake in Flemish, and this dish originates from the northern France, near the border of Belgium. It has puff pastry crust filled with cheese and vegetables and resembles a quiche. Traditional filling is leek and cream. Although various variations exist, there's also a pizza-like version of Flemish, which comes from with a top crust of pie for a southern French twist. Try the thin prissolite, which has anchovies, onions, and olives. Okay. Confit de canard, duck confit. And again, you got to have it for cassoulet. Confit de canard is a tasty French dish of duck, although some chefs use goose or pork, and it's one of the finest French dishes. The meat especially prepared using ancient preservations as low cooking processes. Confit. Anything that is confit is cooked in its own fat. This is the duck meat marinated in salt, garlic, and thyme for about 36 hours, and it's low cooked in its own fat at low temperatures. This is a healthy alternative for frying, and it's typically served with confit, roasted potatoes, and garlic on the side. Today, this dish is popular all over France, although you'll find the best variations in the Gascon region. So confit. Okay. Salad niçoise, it is on your menu Friday. Okay. It's a typical French salad from the Provence region, often eaten as a side dish, or it can also be a light meal on its own. The salad is a mixed lettuce, fresh tomatoes, boiled eggs, canned or fresh tuna. If you do fresh tuna, make sure you sear it lightly and serve it medium rare. If you use canned tuna, no cooking is on it. Blanched green beans, niçoise Caletier olives. If not niçoise, maybe calamata. If not calamata, maybe Spanish olives are fine too. And anchovies. However, there's plenty of different variations to choose from. So if you're struggling to come up with the ideal summer menu, why not consider salad niçoise? It's from the Nice part of France. Okay, and it's a nice hearty niçoise in the summertime. It is not a hot dish. It is a cold salad that is hearty, and it's got protein. It's got all kinds of goody things. Okay. It is like the French Cobb salad. Okay. The tuna, you can find it at H-E-B in the frozen section. They have a 2-pack for like $6. Okay. In the seafood section, they have a little display on the side with a freezer, and you can find it there. Like they got catfish and other fish. You can find the 2-packs cryo bag vacuum sealed tuna steaks. Not sushi great, but good enough for the salad. Okay. Ratatouille is not an Italian side dish. Ratatouille is not an Italian side dish, okay? Not just a lovable cartoon, but a friendly rat. Ratatouille is also the one of France's most iconic dishes from Provence. The dish sees vegetables shallow fried and then layered in a casserole dish before being baked in an oven. French chefs have been debating whether the vegetables need cooking beforehand or for centuries. But however they prepare it, the results are still great. This traditional peasant dish can be a side dish, appetizer, or main course, and it tastes great with red wine and fresh, crusty bread. Similar Basque dish is piperat, which is typically has ham, sometimes egg, and stewed and vegetable mix. And ratatouille is not just diced vegetables sauteed together with tomatoes. You can also, do a little bit different, be a little more creative. Tarte tatin, upside down pineapple cake, the apple cake, not pineapple, upside down apple cake. According to culinary legend, tartan started as a life as a mistake. In 1898, hotelier Stephanie Tatten, owner of the Tatten Hotel, was thinking about making a traditional apple pie when she accidentally let the apples cooking in sugar and butter for too long. In a hurry to rescue the dessert, she put the pastry base on top of the burning fruit and put it in the oven. He's supposed to serve the upside-down tart to her guests at the Hotel Tatten, and the result turned into the hotel's signature dish. We can still taste this excellent mistake nowadays. Okay, so tatin is a mistake, upside-down apple pie. Okay. So Friday, yes sirree, here we go. You got salad niçoise. Okay, that's on your menu. The green beans are blanched. The egg is hard boiled. If you remember from foundations, 14 minutes to hard boil the egg is the base structure, but it depends if your eggs are cold from the refrigerator, it might take a little bit longer. The potatoes are cooked too with the skin on, usually red skin potatoes. You do have tomatoes. If you can't find cherry tomatoes, use Roma tomatoes. If you can find niçoise olives, calamar olives will do fine. Purple onions or red onions, lettuce, and a lemon vinaigrette on top of it. That is salad niçoise on Friday. Okay, and again, tuna you can find that at HEB in the frozen section, about $6 for a pack of two. It's like about 4 ounces each. Mushroom and leek tart. You are going to need a pâté brisé for this one. Flaky, not mealy. Okay. Make the pâté brisé. If you don't have the tart mold, you can utilize a muffin tin. Okay, but make sure you spray it so it doesn't stick to it. Make your pâté brisé, cut it and put it in the mold, set it aside. Go ahead and slice your mushrooms, chop up your leeks, saute your leeks, add your mushrooms, add your heavy cream, reduce, pull it aside, fold in your Parmesan cheese. I know it says Gruyere, but Parmesan cheese is fine. It's going to be really cheesy, but the heavy cream needs to be reduced so it's not very liquidy. It's nice and thick. Once you have that mixture done, go ahead and put it inside your dough mixture and pop it in the oven. You're going to bake it raw. You're not going to blind bake the dough, okay? Bake it raw until the edges become golden brown. But when you bake it, make sure you put it on top of a cookie tray so it doesn't overflow and doesn't burn at the bottom of your oven, so you don't have smoke signals, okay? I don't need the rain, but take it out, remove it, let it cool down. You can present it if you do little ones, or you can let the big one cool down and then cut it into wedges and present it, okay? Mushroom and leek tart. If you like mushrooms, man, and leeks, this is a great combination, okay? And baguette. Again, the recipe is fairly simple on the baguette. If you can't remember how to make baguette, there's a tons of videos on how to make baguette. The number one item is not to overwork the dough and not to degas it, okay? Very simple, and you gotta proof it twice. When you make the dough, proof it, bring it out, shape it, and proof it again before being baked in the oven. And do you guys know at what temperature the baguette is supposed to be baked at?
450.
And how do you check it?
Make sure it's brown on top.
Okay. Temperature inside the baguette, 190, 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. That's how you check the baguette. And also to have the nice golden crust, you either spray it with water or put a pan of ice in the oven to create that steam, and that's going to give it a nice hearty crust. It needs to be, you know, you can knock on it, okay? When you bring it out, let it cool down, okay? And slice it with a serrated knife on a cutting board, not on a sheet tray, straight, not on an angle, okay? Straight. So you don't mush it down. Not your chef's knife, but a serrated knife, okay? That is your menu for Friday. That is your menu for Thursday. That is your menu for Wednesday. That is your menu for the whole week. Any thoughts on your menus? Any questions? What do we have Tuesday, tomorrow?
The
We got the
churrasco.
chimichurri.
What are we looking for the steak?
Medium rare. Oil and salt.
Medium. I can't do medium rare.
For the presentation cam, then you go back and cremate it afterwards.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. I got it.
I know. My family too. My mom knows that I eat raw steak or raw beef. She probably disowned me. You know, Hispanics in the.
I don't have no problem with it eating in medium rare. I still eat in medium rare, but I prefer medium.
That's fine.
Way better, like butter.
Okay. But for the picture shape, just make sure it's medium rare, okay?
All right.
So what are we looking for the chimichurri?
You said what about the chimichurri?
Yeah, what are we looking for in the chimichurri?
Fresh garlic, herbs, oil, mix, not too, what, I should say not too oily. I know we're not supposed to use olive oil.
Nope.
No olive oil.
Canola oil or vegetable oil is fine. You got parsley if you can't find fresh. Dry parsley will do this as well. Oregano, chili flakes, no pepper, salt, red wine vinegar, oil, and a dash of lime juice, okay? But you got to make sure you rehydrate the oregano, the parsley if you use dry, and the chili flakes in warm, lukewarm water to rehydrate it. You can also make it the day beforehand to have more flavors or way ahead of the game, so it has the flavors of bloom, okay? And the chimichurri is not to marinate the steak and grill it, and not to cook it and grill it either, not to reduce it. It's not a hot sauce. It's a rustic dressing that you're going to use it as a dipping sauce for your steak, okay? Maybe you can drizzle some on top of it, but make sure you don't cover the redness of the medium rare steak, okay? And what else on tomorrow besides the chimichurri and steaks and French fries?
Strudel dough.
Empanada.
Empanadas, okay? So you got to take a look at videos how to do it the empanada fold. Don't go around with the fork. That's the easy way out. That's like, whatever, I'm just going to do the fork, okay? Spend the time and do the empanada fold, okay? There's two kinds, the fluted one and the one you saw in the picture, the very fine one, okay? So practice doing empanada fold. So when you make the empanadas, make sure you make the dough, set it aside, flour your table, put your dough, go around it, pick it up, flour your table, turn the dough upside down, go around it again, pick it up and flour your table again. And you're gonna, in the middle, roll it slowly, okay? And you wanna flour your table so it doesn't stick to your table. So when you cut it, okay, and then fill it, you're not having a hard time folding that dough with the empanada, okay? So once you roll it, twist it with your hands and make sure that it's lubricated with flour. If it's not, pick it up, flour your table and turn it upside down and twist it again. Make sure it's quite lubricated with flour, because otherwise your dough is going to be a sticky mess on your table, okay? So flour, dough, pick it up, flour, dough upside down, roll it, twist it, pick it up, flour, turn it upside down, roll it, twist it, flour it again, upside down, roll it, and then punch it, and then fill it like half moon and fold it, and then do that empanada fold, okay? On the empanadas. And you don't have to use peanut butter and bananas to fill it with. You can fill it with whatever you want, as long as it's a sweet empanada for dessert. Pineapples, orange marmalade, strawberries, whatever your little heart desires, okay? You want to use peanut butter bananas? Go for it, okay? So that's tomorrow. Steak, French fries, chimichurri, empanadas, and strudel dough. Take your time, strudel dough, laminated dough, needs to be flaky. What's on Wednesday's menu?
Yeah, that was Spain, right?
No.
Cabbage rolls.
The egg noodles, cabbage roll, egg noodles, and the strudel.
Okay. Spatzel, the little sparrows. Okay. Make sure that you use the recipe from Foundations. Don't use semolina. You're going to use pasta dough. You never make spatzel with semolina. Okay. So make the spatzel dough. You don't have to have a spatzel maker. You can utilize a colander with big enough holes as you push the batter. Make sure the batter is thick enough, like a thick pancake batter. If you have one of those cheese shredder, turn it upside down and then push it through, and then make sure you press it with the spatula. And it has to be thick enough that you actually push it so it can drop into the boiling water. Boiling water with salt. Again, a few minutes, stick it out, shock it, drain it. Brown butter and saute it in brown butter. Okay. Cabbage rolls. What about cabbage rolls? What are we looking for the cabbage rolls? Will you make it?
Blanch the cabbage head first before you start peeling it.
What else?
Don't cook the pork all the way before you put it in.
Bingo, the pork has to be raw. You gotta have pre-cooked jasmine rice, plain rice, no salt, no pepper, no butter. Don't be creative with adding flavors. So rice, raw pork, egg as a binder, maybe some oregano, okay? Mix it together. Your cabbage, these have to be removed, then blanch to make them pliable. Roll it in about this big, right, Mrs. Danny B, and about this thick, okay?
I forgot to ask, Chef.
Yes.
Sorry, is the rice is pre-cooked though, right? Like just with no flavors?
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure because like it looked like it was in the picture, but I just wanted to make sure.
And you don't need a lot of rice, you know. And if you have any, if you run out of leaves and have some mixed pork with rice and egg and all that good stuff, make meatballs, right? Make meatballs. You get tomato sauce already for the cabbage rolls. Go ahead and make meatballs. Put them in the oven and let them go, right? So you have another dish, right? So you got spatzel, cabbage rolls, strudel, and maybe meatballs if you have pork left over. The strudels, the laminated dough, do not overwork the dough, just like biscuits. If you do, they're going to become real dense and underbaked, okay? And then you're going to fold them. Okay, fold them nice and gently, egg wash them, fold them in again, make a vents in it. You want to braid it, go ahead and braid it, and then egg wash, and then sugar on top, and then bake it in the oven. When it comes out, let it cool down, and then slice it with a serrated knife, straight, gentle, so you don't mush the insides, and then serve it with a cut facing up, okay? Thursday, what's on Thursday?
The tomato bread, the pork loin, the tomato and red bell pepper sauce, and tortilla española.
Mm-hmm. So Thursday, 2 times the yeast on the bread. Round it up if you have to, okay? Don't go crazy trying to figure out this math. If it's just 1/8 teaspoon, just do 1 teaspoon, right? Double it up, whatever. The more yeast you have, the bread's going to be. And also, the tomato juice needs to be sitting around 90 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit in order to activate the yeast. Even though it's dry activated yeast, still 90 to 110 degrees tomato juice to make it more fluffier, okay? And then sofrito, chop, saute, render it, set it aside, okay? What else? Sofrito, I think the recipe might have saffron. Don't worry about it. If you can find it, that's fine. I've only found saffron in a Fiesta Market, little container with a few estimados on it. I forget how much it was, but I did find it in a Fiesta Market off of, what is it, 55th and I-35, Northeast Austin. I found it once in the international aisle. So I'm like, saffron, here you go, okay? So if you don't have it, don't use it, okay? Sofrito, and then you have the pork loin or pork chops, thick pork chops, okay? Season them lightly, and then sear them and roast them in the oven. And then you're gonna have the smoked tomato, red bell pepper coulis sauce for the pork, okay? For the pork, okay? Nice and smooth. Remember when you roast the pepper, what to look out for and how to be more efficient, okay? And then the last one, what is it? I think that's it, right? Okay. Friday, what's Friday?
Taco Tuesday.
Salad niçoise and baguette and leek and mushroom tart.
Correct. Salad niçoise. HEB does have the tuna, vacuum sealed, cryovac frozen, $6-7 for a pack of 2. It's a 4 ounces. I bought it before, and I put it here at home, and it's fine. It'll do fine for the salad. Doesn't have to be sushi grade tuna. Don't go crazy spending $15 for a 4-ounce piece of tuna. Buy the frozen one at HEB, it'll do you fine. Okay. Hard-boiled potato eggs, blanched green beans, cold not hot, and what else? If you don't find miso olives, calamares is fine too. Okay, and some lettuce, mixed green, romaine, whatever you can find. Okay. So niçoise salad, and then what else? Mushroom leek tart, pâté brisé, flaky not mealy. Make it, set it aside. Saute your leeks, your mushrooms, whatever. I think it might be called for garlic, some other ingredients. I hit it with some heavy cream, reduce it so it's nice and thick. Okay, pull it outside of the burner and fold in your Parmesan cheese because you're not going to have much Gruyere. Parmesan cheese is fine too. Fold it in so it's going to be kind of like cheesy, elastic. Fill your pie mold, stick it in the oven on a cookie sheet tray so it doesn't overflow and burn your oven until the edges become golden brown. Take it off, set it aside, let it cool down, and you may be able to cut it. If not, present it whole, okay? And do taste it, because if you cut it, remember, it's heavy cream with the cheese as a binder, so it's still gonna be oozy, okay? You don't wanna make a mess, okay? And then your baguette, okay? Baguette, 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 okay? Any questions about this week? Thursday is loaded.
Did you say there's potatoes?
Sorry, is what?
Did you say there's potatoes in the salad?
Yes.
Niçoise salad.
Red skin potatoes.
Cold.
They're cooked and they're cold. Skin on, not peeled. Yeah.
Don't peel them.
So to going into tomorrow, okay, the menu is not hard. Make your empanadas first, or your chimichurri first, empanadas, and then your French fries, and then your steak should be the end part. Okay, when you cook it, set it aside, let it rest, and then go ahead and slice it and plate it up. Wednesday, you have the cabbage rolls. It could be made in advance. You're gonna make those first, and then go to the spatzel. Okay, and then once you have the spatzel, set it aside and work on your strudel. Once the strudel is baking, you can go ahead and let your cabbage rolls cool down a bit, and then start working on your sauteing your brown butter and sauteing your spatzel. Thursday is your tomato bread. You got to get it as soon as possible, okay? Because it's going to take time to proof. Even though you're times 2 the yeast and you're using the tomato juice at 90 to 110 degrees, it's going to take time to proof. Knock out the dough and let it proof for the first time. Well, you go ahead and knock out the sofrito. That's easy. And then go to your tomato coulis, okay? And then start working on your pork. And then by that time, before you cook the pork, finish your dough, proof it again, and then bake it. As it's baking, start working on your on the pork. Maybe sear it and finish it in the oven. Okay. So, and for Thursday, the theme for your plating techniques on your menu for Thursday, since we're in Spain, think about tapas. Okay, tapas, small bite size. It can be done. Okay. So finish that video of tapas of Andalusia and watch it throughout. Hopefully you get some inspiration. It's one of my favorites. I like the way he does the oyster with foam. I like the way he does the clam, and I like the way he does the sardine. When we stopped it right in the middle when he's smoking it with acorn thingies. Okay. So watch it, get some inspiration, get some ideas for Thursday's presentations. Play with the presentation. Do it tapas style. Okay.
Yes, chef.
Any questions?
No, chef.
Okay.